afternoon, football fans. Oh yes, it has been too long, and here we are today on this beautiful Wednesday evening. It is September 4th, 2019, and I hope you're ready, because here we go. NFL 100 years of the NFL starts off right here, right now, getting it going with this episode of 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Football fans all around the world, you are officially tuned in to your hub, literally your hub, to all that is football. We are bringing it to you here every Wednesday with a thunder. Ring the bells, blow the whistles, and of course, sound the applause button, because we're getting ready for an entire season of pure madness. Tonight, my colleagues and myself, of course, will be giving it to you. Week number 1 of the NFL begins tomorrow. The two oldest franchises in the NFL, with the oldest rivalry in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears going head-to-head. Oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. Coming up, of course, tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. Then on Sunday Night Football, well, some rivalries just never get too old, even if they aren't that old. Patriots will host their arch nemesis, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, on Monday Night Football, we have a doubleheader as the Houston Texans take on those New Orleans Saints. And last but not least, in the second game of the doubleheader, those Denver Broncos take on my beloved Oakland Raiders. Are the Texans for real? Are the Raiders for real? Are the Saints on a revenge tour? I think so. Are the Broncos rebuilding? We'll find out. And let's just say that the next chapter in the Bears-Packers rivalry is about to be just as nasty as the previous. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in live for 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans. My gosh, as I said in the introduction, it has been too long. I mean, seriously, it feels like ages since we were on air talking football. Of course, the Super Bowl was the last time we talked actual football. We recapped, of course, in the season, the season 6 finale. Season 6 episode. Craziness, man. Craziness for 3 and Out. Let's just hear it, y'all, for us. 6 seasons, man. I'm loving this. I'm so excited, and I'm so happy that we have football back. As I told Mike earlier, right before we got on air, life makes sense again. I mean, it always does. Hey, God gave me another day. As I always say, all glory to God. Without Him, nothing is possible. Big shout out to the man above, of course. And, of course, big shout out to all of you listeners out to make this thing happen. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to all of our beloved listeners. You guys are awesome. And thank you so much for making IE Sports Radio what it is and what it has become in these 5 years. But yeah, y'all, we are just... football is back, and I'm so dang excited to be talking about this amazing sport yet again for another season. And it's something that I just never get tired of. We talked, about the draft. We had a pre-draft, we had a combine show, we had a draft show, I think it's the post-draft show. And then, of course, we had 8 divisions in 8 days. That was a lot of fun. So thank you to everybody who joined us for 8 divisions in 8 days. But let me just say, 8 divisions in 8 days was awesome this year. We had all 32 teams for the first time in IE Sports Radio 3 and Out history. Well, we had 8 divisions in 8 days with all 32 teams. A big shout out to all of those guests that were with us. Appreciate you so much. And actually, I think 1 or 2 of them will be back with us tonight. So we're really excited about that. And plenty of them will be joining us throughout the entire season for our Primetime Face-Offs. We have a pre-recorded face-off from last night for a third Primetime Face-Off of the evening, as Mr. Big Sound Blake Henley and Mr. Colin Reynolds will be joining us in a little bit. That's a pre-recorded one, and that was a lot of fun last night. So they actually kicked it off with the Primetime Face-Offs. We'll be playing that one later on in the show. Also, we got 2 newcomers, Mr. Matt Hames and another newcomer, by the way. Really happy to have him. Got him this morning on Twitter, and great guy. He'll be joining us later on today. Mr. Gary will be joining us, and should be a lot of fun having him on air. And, of course, we have coming up in the second Primetime Face-Off. This is going to be a lot of fun. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Matt Hames will be taking on Pete Garofalo, Steelers versus Patriots. Then we got in the first one, Gary taking on Buzz. This is going to be a good one for the first start. And then in the third one, as I mentioned, Colin versus Blake. And then the last one, I'll be taking on my buddy, me, of course, a Raider fan, taking on Mr. Sean Carver, who has been on the show before, diehard Broncos fans. We got a full slate tonight. Got a whole bunch of picks to make. The Picks League begins. The iSports Radio Fantasy League starts, of course, tomorrow. I mean, I'm so darn excited for this whole thing. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump on in to my co-hosts, man. One of them will be not joining us tonight, and that is Mr. John Felipe. But he'll be joining us back next week. And as I mentioned, Colin will be joining us in a little bit. So, of course, do the math. We have 1 left. And who is that guy? Well, he is absolutely, somebody, as I always say, should be hosting the show instead of me, because the guy's just the real deal. What can I say? He is the chief editor of the iSports Radio blog, who has just always done an incredible job. The guy is just absolutely phenomenal in his writing and his knowledge of sports. And I'm so glad to have him here, not only as my co-host for 3 and Out and a part of the iSports Radio team, as well as the 3 and Out team, but of course, as a great friend of mine. Wonderful, amazing work he does, so check out his blog. Diehard Redskins fan, and one of the biggest sports fans you'll ever meet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one, the only, Mr. Mike Pat. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Larry, all I can say is I gotta hope my writing actually lives up to that introduction, man. That was beautiful.
Well, thank you, sir, and thank you for your writing. I'm serious, dude. The writing is unreal, man. So I love it every single week. Well, not every week, but oh my gosh, when he posts, it's like legit. So trust me, you guys want to read this. Check it out. It's awesome stuff, and yeah, you definitely do a really good job, Mike. Just gotta tell you that, man. Thanks for doing all you do.
Absolutely, man. And let's not forget, we're going to have some new contributions from some of our other iSports Radio family coming up hopefully soon. So let's get excited for that as well. We got a lot of really knowledgeable, really good people on our team here. So I think we're going to see some more really good stuff coming out in the next month.
You're absolutely right, and I am so excited for that, because we really do have a great team here, and it's awesome. It's so awesome to have this team that we got, and I mean, we're the real deal, man. Not to toot our own horn, but hey, we kind of know a thing or two about our sports.
Yeah, we do. You bet we do.
Absolutely. So with that said, Mike, I'm so freaking hyped up, it's not even funny, man. Let's go ahead and jump on into today's show. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we do have, it's just a jam-packed show. It's hard to fit in 3 hours. Everything today, including 4 primetime face-offs. So what we're going to do right now is literally get right into these picks, because, like I said, there's just not enough time, and that's all there is to it, guys. So with that said, all right, Mike, here we go, man. The preseason is in the books, and, well, it's time. The 53-man rosters have all been named, and, well, here we go. So we're going to skip all the primetime games, because we're going to do our final weigh-in at the end of the show, but we're going to go ahead and jump right on into to our picks for week number 1 in the NFL. And, well, here we go, courtesy of the ESPN Score Center app. Here we go. Starting things off, of course, we have the Packers and the Bears on Thursday night. As I mentioned, we're going to save those for the end of the show after our primetime face-offs have all concluded. So let's go ahead and roll on to Sunday. All right, Mike. First game on the docket, the Tennessee Titans with head coach Mike Vrabel. I think this is like third or fourth year. I forgot how many years he's been there, but my gosh, this team has had a number of changes. Mariota, is he the real deal? Is he not? Are they going to stay with him? Are they not? Henry proved himself last year with that incredibly crazy game that just destroyed my fantasy chances because that was against me in the playoffs. Thank you, Henry. But regardless, yeah, what are the odds of that happening, right? But, lots of great players in this team. The defense has gotten much better. Of course, some big re-signings and signings this year for the Titans. And then they're taking on probably one of the most hyped-up teams of the entire league this year, Baker Mayfield. We have Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and their Cleveland Browns. Mike, this is going to be, I think it's going to be probably one of the best games of week one. I'm so glad we get to talk about it first. Well, let's start things off. Mike, weigh in on this game.
Well, this is certainly going to be one of the more intriguing game matchups we've got because you've got two teams here. Tennessee, who's been like right on the cusp of competitive and like contenders, but not quite there for the Marcus Mariota era. And, you know, like you said, they've undergone some changes. The pass rush in particular, no more Brian Orakpo, no more Derek Morgan. You bring in Cameron Wake. You bring in a couple other pieces. A lot of changing parts on the defensive front seven, and a couple changing parts on offense. But I think you alluded to it perfectly, Larry. It all comes down to Mariota. You know, entering, I think it was fourth or fifth year. I can't remember what year we are in with his regime. Fifth year. He's fifth year. So, you know, last year of his rookie deal. Is he the real deal? This is it, make or break. You look at the other parts in the division. This division's definitely up for grabs. If there is an opportunity for Tennessee to seize it, it's going to be this year. And then you've got Cleveland, again, bunch of new parts, you know, Odell Beckham, the exciting new piece, you know, Baker Mayfield entering year two, and another division with some missing parts. So, you know, this is going to be a tone-setting game for these teams to start the season. And, you know, and like I said, all these new pieces, how are they all going to work together? It's really critical for both these teams to get off on the right start.
Oh, without a doubt, my God. This is going to be exciting. So, with that said, they are in Cleveland. They're starting the season off in Cleveland, and it's going to be probably, as you mentioned, one of the most intriguing, this is one of the most intriguing games of the season. I mean, maybe of the season. I mean, as of right now, but of week number one. All right, Mike, we are both in the Picks League this year. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Cleveland at home. I think, you know, you've got just too many weapons on offense for Tennessee to stop consistently. And I think for Tennessee, I don't know if they're going to be rolling right off the bat. I also feel like I saw that Taylor Lewin, the left tackle for Tennessee, might not be playing week one. I think correctly. So I think that's going to have a big effect on the game, especially since the guy who he would be blocking, a la Myles Garrett, is in the words of various ESPN hosts, a bad man. So I'm going to go with Cleveland at home. Let's say final score 24-17.
You know, that is a great, in my opinion, that is a very great score, and I will tell you why in a few moments. But with that said, well, we got our third musketeer for the night, and I'm so glad he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, he was on, I'm telling you, him and Blake were the tone setters. Yes, there will be 2 primetime face-offs before this game. I mean, before their face-off plays later on tonight, pre-recorded, but it was a great one last night, and what can you say, man? He never disappoints. This year, we're going to actually start keeping score of primetime face-offs, and if we did that 2 years ago, I think he'd be undefeated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the Fat Mac himself. Y'all smell that, baby? That's Gumbo! Saints Gumbo, to be exact. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the one, the only, Mr. Colin Reynolds. What's going on, Colin?
What's going on, family? How y'all doing on today?
Real good, brother. How you doing today, man?
Hey, man, I'm great, man. I can't complain. About to get off work, so that's good, you know?
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm glad you had that's good, man. Good day at work today?
Hey, man, great day, actually, man. Great day, got through the work. Now I'm excited for some good football talk, man.
Hey, I'm totally with you, man. So we just weighed in right now on the first. Once again, we're gonna skip all the primetime games until the end of the season. Sorry, the end of the show for our final weigh-in. But right now, we're jumping into the other games coming up on Sunday. We have the Titans and the Browns. Column, I don't think we got to go too much into depth with this game to know that it is going to be extremely anticipated, and as Mike mentioned, make or break year for Mariota. Baker Mayfield and his crazy team are so many moves. I mean, Column, give us your thoughts on this game and let us know who you got.
Well, with Tennessee, man, like you said, make or break it for Mariota, but I want to see if Derrick Henry can keep up. Can he start the season the way he ended last season? I missed him last night on my fantasy. I had the queue going, and I was ready to pick him, and I wanted with somebody else, but that's long. That's far gone. But I think if those two can keep up good play and be consistent with it, Tennessee, they not really gonna be a Super Bowl contender, but they'll be a factor, in the AFC. But and they'll be Browns. I mean, yes, the most anticipated team in the league right now. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, John Njoku. I mean, the list goes on for the talent that these guys have and the resurgence of bringing the dog pound back. So and I'm a big Odell man. I'm ready to see a new location. Can he continue his phenomenal playmaking abilities and put Cleveland back on the map? So
we got two.
My prediction to be Cleveland wins the game 28-17 Cleveland.
I think we're all on the same bandwagon, y'all, because I think Cleveland's going to I think they're going to come out with the Thunder, man. There's no way they're not. The Tennessee Titans need everything they can get right now. I mean, once again, as you mentioned, Mariota's in his final year. Well, as Mike mentioned, it's just a rough road ahead for a Tennessee team who will do not so well, and actually a pretty glorious road ahead for a Tennessee team that will do well. It's crazy. This is literally a make or break season for the Tennessee Titans. So I hate to say give them a rough start, but I'm gonna have to go Cleveland as well. 21-17. I just feel Cleveland is just they have a little more oomph on offense than the Titans do. The Titans could surprise us. Okay, I mean, I'm a big fan of Adoree Jackson. I really am. And I'm an SC guy all day long, and I'd love to see Tennessee, really Marcus Mariota, a Pac-12 quarterback. But I guess I can't go against Baker in those Browns, at least in week 1 for right now, until we see what they're made of. So anyway, my apologies. We only have 20 more minutes to get to the picks, because of course we got to get to 4 primetime face-offs. So we got to kind of go a little lightning speed this first show and this first show only, because of 4 primetime face-offs on the show. But let's go ahead and get to it. So next up here, like I said, a little hyper speed for these picks. But next up here we have the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, brand new quarterback, of course, Mr. Lamar Jackson, looking pretty good behind center, taking on extremely awkward Miami Dolphins team, because we seriously have no idea what anything is about this team. So many ups, so many downs. They just got rid of Tunzel to the Texans. I mean, this team has so many question marks around it. It could be the gosh dang Joker's playhouse, man. I mean, seriously, there are so many question marks on this thing, it's ridiculous. So, with that said, let's go start things off this time. Colin, start us off, man. Ravens, Dolphins, who you got and why?
Ravens all the way because of 3 people: Earl Thomas, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Ingram. That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, straight off the bat. Mike?
I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. Look, no team trades their best offensive lineman, one of their starting receivers, a week before the season for draft picks and isn't tanking. I'm sorry. I don't care what Miami says. This team is mailing it in, and they're trying to get themselves somebody good in the 2020 draft. But I do not see this team being competitive at all. Baltimore's got talent all over the roster. I think Lamar Jackson, maybe not necessarily running the ball, or passing the ball, but definitely in terms of the run game, this team's gonna have a great day. I'm gonna say Baltimore.
It's not hard to go that way either, gentlemen, because Baltimore right now, they are a team that is surging. They know what has to be done. They know. Pittsburgh, I don't know, they fell off. They really did. I mean, I'm not gonna give the division away just yet. Actually, I did already. In Division 8 days, I did say the Browns would win the division, and I'm going to stick true with that. I feel like right now, the Steelers are just in a weird, rough transitional period. They still have some, very good players there. But I just think Baltimore's going to have more. And with that said, I think Baltimore's going to have more than Miami for sure this week. There's no way. If Miami somehow wins this game, then Baltimore is as suspect as it gets. I don't even care. So I'm going Baltimore as well to win this thing, and that's going to be that. I mean, seriously, I'm going to go 27-13. I don't even know. I don't even know where I got that from, but I think Baltimore is good enough to be a 2-touchdown victory. Or victor, that is, over the Dolphins on the road. So, next up, we have here the Atlanta Falcons, okay, a team who was just, in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, a 25-point comeback, but who's talking about that anymore, right? And after that, we have a very, a team who has lots of promise, though. Youngster Calvin Ridley looking pretty good. Okay, Julio Jones is still there. Freeman is still there. This is a pretty decent team. Defensively, they're still pretty tough. What's wrong? Well, they're in an extremely tough division, and they have this juggernaut at the top called the New Orleans Saints that they got to worry about now, and a pretty good Panthers team, and a Buccaneers team who, let's just face it, they're not where they should be, but they've been hit or miss, and it is what it is. So, more than anything, gotta say that for sure. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump right on in to the pick for this one. I'm sorry, the next team. The Minnesota Vikings, who have been anything but impressive. Seriously, this team has been extremely unimpressive, okay? I can't say enough about how unimpressive the Vikings have been. I seriously can't. The Vikings had every chance to be a Super Bowl contending team a couple years ago, and it's like, I feel like, honestly, I feel like Minnesota is that Adam Sandler meme from Billy Madison. You blew it! Like, seriously, like, it's like they had every chance to be this amazing team, and now they're just... I don't look at Minnesota the same way anymore. It's like, yeah, you're average. Whatever. Like, you're not this big old contender. The Bears have totally taken that, I think, in the NFC North. So, anyway, with that said, they're still a tough team. They're defending their turf. They still have decent weapons there. But overall, I was way too much talking on my part, so my apologies. With that said, Mike, start us off, and who you got this game and why?
Well, this is going to be an intriguing game because you've got a high-powered offense in Atlanta going up against a team with a pretty good defense in Minnesota, and then you've got an up-and-down offense in Minnesota going up against a defense in Atlanta that's got a handful of moving pieces, some guys coming off of injury. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Two dome teams playing in a dome, so, no real strong home advantage. I'm going to go with Atlanta on the road here. I think they can pull off this early season win. They're a very talented squad. And I think you look at Matt Ryan versus Kirk Cousins, I think you got to take Matt Ryan in that matchup. And, I just think the weapons are too much for Minnesota to handle.
I couldn't agree more. Kylam, your thoughts?
Well, I hope Jelani JB Bodie's listening. I'm not allowed to say this, and it's so early in the season, but I'm going with Atlanta Falcons, man, here. Calvin Ridley, Calvin Ridley, second year. Julio Jones fighting for a new contract, and the only thing is the running game is a little shaky, but Falcons just have too much experience, and I'm going with the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is not a big fan of it.
All right, well, you know what? That's a different one for all of us then, because I'm gonna have to go. All right, Mike, you got the Vikes, right?
Mike? No, I picked Atlanta.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like doing a whole bunch of different things at once right now, trying to get the tweets out. But okay, yeah, I want to go with Minnesota. I really do, because they're the home team, and I feel like they can ride the home wave. But seriously, once again, they're unimpressive. Like, there's nothing about the Vikings right now that says, oh, you guys are, a NFC championship caliber team. They're just not. Like, that's all there's to it. So, with that said, a team who has it's like college football in the NFC South. If you don't win every game, you're not going to get to you're seriously not going to make the playoffs. That's seriously what it feels like in the NFC South, because of how tight it is between at least three teams, not the Bucks, but the other three. So, The Falcons need every win they can get, and I just feel like they're going to go balls out every play, every single game. I feel like the Falcons are going to be playing like it's the Super Bowl. So with that said, I think they're going to beat the Vikings. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but it's definitely going to be a decent lopsided, maybe not super lopsided. I'm going to say 28-21. They'll win by a touchdown, but I just feel like they're just better. They're just the better team, and the better team's going to win. So, all right, so we're all going Falcons. So far, we're all together in this one. All right, so next up, the Bills. Okay, so I've got about 15 minutes here, so let's go ahead and get up to these. So this time, I promise, hyperspeed, okay? Bills, Jets. Guess what? Bills, revamped defense? What? Ed Oliver, what? Amazing man there in the middle to help out? Is it going to be enough? Is this team actually worth something? Josh Allen, can he get the arm under control? Le'Veon Bell running the ball in New York? What? Or are they the same old Jets? Okay, that's going to be about that. Colin, start us off, man. Who you taking and why? Oh, you calling me there? And Kylan is muted, so
yes, hello,
there
hello,
he is.
yeah.
Okay, we're good.
I'm going Jets. Le'Veon Bell has something to prove, and he apologized to all fantasy owners from last year and showing people why he set out. So I'm going to Le'Veon show here.
Okay, okay. Well, Mike, who you got, man, and why?
Oh, this is a tough one because these two teams could go any direction in 2019. They really could. So I'm going to kind of play it safe. I'll go with the hometown team and the Jets here. Colin does make a great point about Le'Veon Bell. Not that I think he really cares too much about what other people think, but I feel like he's going to want to shut some of the critics up. So I think he could have a really strong game for the Jets. So I'll lean Jets as well.
You know, as much as I want to take the Bills because I'm a big Ed Oliver fan, I think the defense has gotten better. They just lost Marshawn McCoy. They just let him go. I don't know for what. I don't really see. They have a pretty good. They have a decent offense. Really. Decent offense. Okay. Uh-oh, we got some feedback there. Who's that? Sorry about that, man. Got a little feedback there. But, overall, the Bills are a decent team, but we're going to have to see. Right now, with this Jets team looking to prove something early, I'm actually going to go Jets winning this thing in a low-scoring battle, 17-13. Next up here. Here we go, Mike. Time to pick on your guys. It's those Redskins who had anything but a desirable year last year, taking on the Eagles who have had interesting seasons in the last couple of seasons. Win the Super Bowl and then just becoming good enough. So, really, all there is to it. Deshaun Jackson, he's back in Philly. Is he going to be making that, that big presence felt? Or is, this young Redskins team going to get something going? I really tell you, I loved it. I love that pass rush. Montez Sweat and Kerrigan, I think that's the best pass rush in the NFL. Well, we'll find out. With that said, Mike, start us off, man.
Why did we have to start out the season in Philadelphia, man? Like, geez Louise, man. The Redskins, like you said, they've had anything but a desirable, they had anything but a desirable season last year with Alex Smith getting hurt. Their offseason was pretty up and down. The draft was good, but I don't know. Going into Philly, Carson Wentz, nobody knows what to expect out of him, which means, but knowing our luck, he's going to come out and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdown passes, knowing, just the way things roll for us. It would be I want to pick my team, I do, but it would be foolish of me to do so. So I'm going to go with Philly, go for the reverse jinx here. I'm going to go for Philly in their hometown week 1 against my poor and don't know what to expect of them Redskins.
You know what? Okay, that's fair. Colin, who you got and why?
Well, this is kind of tricky for me, man, because my boy Darius Geis coming back off the ACL. He has Adrian Peterson to train him up a little bit, and rookie, a couple rookies that can be promising. But here, sorry, Mike, here, Philly has Jordan Howard coming over from Chicago. Deshaun Jackson's back home. And Carson Wentz, he's like a roller coaster up and down. But here I'm going with Philly to win the game, no score prediction. And the reason is Philly's big play possibility.
Guys, There's one thing that I feel wins football games more than anything else. And you know what that is? It's a position that I so happen to play. Edge rusher. That is exactly why I'm going with what some people may call an upset. I'm taking the Redskins to win this thing, baby. I love it. I love this pass rush. I am all for it. I want to see them go to work. Get your lunch pail. Go to work. I got the Redskins shocking the Eagles 20 for 21 on the road. That's right. I said it. That's right. What's up? Anyway,
Larry, you do realize now that if the Redskins lose big, like if we get blown out, I'm blaming you.
That's fair.
It's all on you now, man.
I feel really bad about that. I'm sorry, but that's fair. Next up, we got those Rams taking on those Panthers. Rams, we know all about this team and how strong they really are, but how strong are they? Can they be that team this year to get back to the bowl yet again, taking on a Panthers team in North Carolina that, once again, a team that plays every game like Super Bowl, because they're in a division where if you don't win, you're probably not going to make the playoffs. That's all there is to it. All right, start us off, Mike. Who you got?
Well, this is going to be a tough one for the Rams because I don't know who they have on their roster who's going to be able to hang with Christian McCaffrey for 60 minutes. Like, this dude is a legit playmaker all over the field. He's going to touch the ball probably between running and catching probably 25 to 30 times this game, and he is going to be difficult for them to stop. And then there's, of course, Cam Newton, who I think I've heard some injury rumors about him, not entirely sure, don't know how healthy he is, but he's going to do something ridiculous, and it's probably going to get him hurt. But, he's going to do it, and the result immediately is going to be great. So I'm actually going to go with the Panthers here, an early season loss for the Rams. Not that I don't have faith in the Rams. I think it's going to be a very good game, but I just think Carolina is a little too difficult for them to stop defensively.
Okay, that's fair. Colin, who you got?
This one here, I want to go. Let me say it. All right, Carolina.
Colin, I think you're in a bad area, brother. We can barely hear you, man. Colin, you there? Okay, unfortunately, I think we lost Colin, but it's all good.
Yeah, fellas?
Okay, there you are. Are you there?
Yeah, man. I'm on the highway. That's why, man. Sorry, but can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, what I was saying is he have Greg Olsen is for the Carolina Panthers, and it don't matter how much injury, how much older, how much he slows down. He's Cam Newton's favorite target. And then, like you said, you have McCaffrey. The dude is a juggernaut of a football player. But I feel the Rams is overpowered. It's just going to overpower them. And, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Gurley. It's just too much firepower. And also, Carolina's in my division, so I'm going for the Rams.
You know something? I'm gonna have to agree there. I really think the Carolina Panthers are a very good team. Stopping McCaffrey is not an easy task, but if any team is gonna stop McCaffrey and Cam Newton, it's gonna be that Rams defense, short and sweet. I'm going Rams win this thing, 35-24. I just think they'll be able to pull it off. So next up, those crazy high-flying Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, everyone's tripping out on him and maybe a sophomore slump or maybe even a better season than his rookie year. Who knows? But this team is really nasty, and they're going on into the Jacksonville Jaguars territory in Duval, where they're going to play a team that, well, they're anything but good right now. But wait a second. There's a guy playing quarterback there now that, took the Eagles to the Super Bowl and... Oh, wait, he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Just saying, and Nick Foles. So, with that said, Colin, start us off, man. Who you got and why?
Man, I'm going with Jacksonville here, man.
Whoa.
I'm going with Jacksonville, man. I feel that Fournette may rush for like 180, 200, man. I feel like with Foles, with a solid quarterback, you don't forget Bortles was great like 2 years ago, and what else? Did they beat the Patriots, or they brought them to the very end? They almost beat the Patriots in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And now with Foles, somebody that's consistent, he's going to do only what he's not allowed, but only what he's capable of. And it's going to open up that run game. I'm going with Jacksonville upset, low-scoring game, 21-17.
That is bold. That's bolder than the Redskins pick I made for sure. Mike, what you got?
Jacksonville made a lot of changes in the offseason. But overall, to me, like, on offense, Nick Foles is solid, but he's never really had a ton of regular season success aside from that one season in Philly where he had that 9 or 10 game stretch where he threw for 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Other than that, he really hasn't been that impactful in the regular season. And, new city, new weapons, and the weapons overall outside of Fournette aren't really that great. The offensive line is good, not great. The defense has some new pieces. That should be pretty good, but this Kansas City Chiefs team, the firepower and their ability to attack just all over the field is intense. And they do have some new pieces on defense that are going to be intriguing. Frank Clark, who they got in the trade with Seattle, I think he's going to be a high-impact guy, and a couple other pieces as well. So I think Kansas City can go into Jacksonville and win this one.
I'm pretty sure, too. I think Kansas City will win this one. It should be a pretty good game, but I don't see this being too close. Kylan got real brave. I'll tell you what, and if they win this thing, Jacksonville.
Hey, I'm just thinking that with Jalen Ramsey not getting that contract, he's gonna be locked down, and something may happen. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah, so with that said, we got one more game to pick, and then unfortunately we did not make the time because it's okay, but it's hard for us to pick in 40 and 30 minutes. I'll tell you that right now. So what we're gonna do is we are going to do one more pick and then get on out of here and get to our first primetime face-off, and then in the final weigh-in include the last of our picks. So it's going to be a loss. We got to remember where we were, but that's pretty much that. So last pick of this first segment before we get to our first primetime face-off, and it's going to be the Colts at the Chargers. And this one is it is something. The Colts, congratulations on an incredible career to Andrew Luck. That's all there is to it. This man did what he had to do. Stepped away from the game. Injuries happen, and, well, they suck and they're a part of the game. But definitely thank you for all the great years you played, Mr. Luck. And as for their opponent this week, they're taking on a Charger team who is anything but weak. I'll tell you that right now. This team is strong. They're going to be playing in Los Angeles. It's going to be a really, 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 really tough game for the Colts, especially who knows who they're going to start. Don't know if it's going to be Kelly, don't know if it's going to be GBvsCHI, but I just feel like right now this Chargers team is playing, they're firing on all cylinders, and, well, let's see what these guys think first. So, Mike, who you got and why?
I got the Chargers. This is a no-brainer. No offense to GBvsCHI. I actually think he can be a really solid NFL quarterback. I got to watch him play a few games at NC State. His final year was my first year there, so I got to watch him play. He's a good quarterback. He's a good guy. Smart kid. I think he'll be all right. But this first game, man, that's... to have the guy ahead of you retire with, a week and a half before the season, and now all of a sudden you're the starter, unless you had some kind of preview of that, about a month ago, your mind has to be all over the place right now. And the Colts, again, another team with good, not great weapons. I think, T.Y. Hilton is a really good receiver, but beyond that, Marlon Mack, decent running back. They've got some pieces and a really solid offensive line, so they should be consistent. But going into LA, where they've got Phillip Rivers, where they've got Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry back from injury, a good offensive line, Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa on the defensive line, all of these, all these star players all over the place. LA, I think this is one of the more decisive games.
It really is. I don't see this game going any other way than the Chargers. This is a very good football team. There's just lots and lots of talent in this team. The depth is there, and I don't think there's any way they lose. If they lose this thing somehow, the Chargers may not be who they think they are. But I think at the end of the game, the Colts are going to say something very similar to what the late, great Coach Dennis Green said. They are who we thought they were, and that's exactly what they're going to be. So, with that said, y'all, any last words, gentlemen, before we go and jump on to the primetime face-off, the first one of the night? Okay, that makes sense. Alrighty, well, with that said, I'll take ourselves a quick break. When we get back, it's going to be time for that first primetime face-off of the evening. Well, once again, the rest of the picks will be in the final weigh-in at the end of the show. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Primetime face-off time. We got 4 of them tonight. Let's do it. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out right here on IA Sports Radio. Your directly for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Wrestling fans in the podcast world, you are in the right place to listen to the right show, the premier show in the professional wrestling podcasting world. This is Ring Rambling Radio, and you are listening to one of the co-hosts. I am Martin Sandoval, a.k.a. the SoCal Saint, along with my 2 co-hosts, the lovely Felicia and my boy Matt. Yes, every Saturday or every other Saturday morning, you can listen to us, the premier wrestling team, giving you the premier wrestling news, rumors, updates, event discussions, everything that has to do with professional wrestling. You're in the right place. IE Sports Radio presents Ring Rambling Radio. Don't miss it, because it's just too sweet.
Two Wheels Wednesday is the place to come for all your motorcycle sports news every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio with myself, Matt White. All the latest news, rumours, race reviews and previews from World and British Superbikes and the big one, MotoGP. Two Wheels Wednesday, every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
Hi, I'm Phil Robinson, running points, setting up Phil Jones for the finish. Join us every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we break down the week in basketball on the home for Real Talk Sports Radio, IESportsRadio.com.
Drivers, start your engines. Auto racing takes many forms, from the close quarter contact of NASCAR
to the high-speed, high-risk atmosphere of IndyCar,
all the way to the pinnacle of technology with the Formula One World Championship.
No matter if you prefer the high banks of Daytona,
the concrete canyons of Long Beach,
or the flowing curves of the Nürburgring,
the international language of motorsports is simple. Go fast,
run hard,
and come home first.
So join us, myself, Darrell Kinsey Jr.,
Lolita Camello,
and Michael Ward,
on a world tour of all the best motorsports has to offer on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on your home for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, there you have it, y'all. Some great shows you're going to hear on IE Sports Radio right here on Spreaker.com. And, well, guess what? As I promised you earlier, primetime face-offs galore tonight. And, well, we're going to start off with one that is, I don't know how this one's going to go. These are both newcomers to the show, and it could be extremely crazy and chippy. It could be really respectful. I have no idea, but it's going to be fun. So with that said, let's not waste any time. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first primetime face-off of the season, where's that applause button? Here we go. Some thunder in there, because here it comes. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, the oldest rivalry in the NFL from the oldest two teams in the NFL. Thursday Night Football. No other way to kick off the 100th season of the NFL than with the Packers and the Bears. Or shall I say, the Cheeseheads and the Bears. With that said, let's get this thing going, y'all. First up here, representing his Green Bay Packers, a guy who looks as every bit of a diehard as he can possibly get, and I'm really glad to have him here on the show tonight. He is, in fact, he's actually a writer. Pretty sweet to have him here on the show, as I mentioned already. So with that said, welcome in here for his very first time on air, and I really hope it'll be very far from his last, because he seems to be every bit of the cheesehead you will want. He's the real deal, y'all. That's all I gotta say, man, because I talked to him a little bit. I talked to him before, and he seems to know. He definitely knows stuff about his Packers. He writes about them, and he is, of course, contributor for podcast/blog, The Power Sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one, the only, Mr. Gary Zillaby. How's it going, Mr. Gary?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here and excited to talk about the Bears.
Hey, you know what? That's funny how you said the Bears. You're going to talk about the Bears. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you something, man. This is going to be awesome. So with that said, welcome in, of course, his opponent and diehard Bears fan. Once again, I talked to this guy as well, previously, and he's every bit of the Bears fan you would think he is. I'm pretty sure he has bite, just like the Bears do, especially like that dang defense, to be really scared of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, he is from Buzz on Tap. Incredible, really neat thing they got going on right now. I was trying to check it out. They have a website going on right now. They have really, really cool stuff. So make sure to give them a follow, of course. I'll give these guys a little bit of time to, talk about what they do and to promote it at the end of the segment, as I always do. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the one syllable name, once again, welcoming from On Tap, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Buzz. How's it going, man? How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm here to have a good time, crack a couple beers, and, let's do this thing, man.
I love it. Hey, man, there's no other way to do it. Hey, when you're in the coldest division in the NFL, I mean, a couple beers is very needed, I'm sure. So,
absolutely, man.
That said, here we go, y'all. Starting things off. Oldest rivalry in the NFL. Hey, everybody grab yourself something delicious to eat, something good to drink, maybe even a refreshing beer, because here we go. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, the first primetime face-off of the season. Here we go. Starting it off, well, quick and dirty. I'm talking about like within a minute's length. Let's try and get through this real fast. Gary, how long have you been a Packers fan, and how did you become a Packers fan?
So I grew up in Green Bay, been an owner since 2011. So, NFL royalty, I guess. Roger Goodell's going to be listening in, making sure, I'm not talking slack about, the league. So protect the shield. But Packer fan since really covering the team since 2000, writing about them, covering about them for the last 6 years. First, kind of spoiled with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but always enjoyed the rivalry with the Bears, and got a lot of family in Chicago, so there are plenty of bets that are going to be paid off on Christmas one way or the other.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. All right, Buzz, let us know, man. How did you become such a diehard Bears fan, and how long have you been one?
Oh, man, my dad's had season tickets since 1984. I was born in 91. He passed them down to me about 4 years ago. Kept them tickets, you know what I'm saying, man? So, just diehard Bears fan, going to games as a little kid and still going to games now. Season tickets, shout out section 152. It's north end zone, 6 rows up from the field, man. So it's my second home.
I love it. And gentlemen, that's the only way to do it. I love it. I am all for it, and I think this is amazing. As Buzz mentioned, he will be in attendance on Thursday's game, well, tomorrow, so it's just going to be awesome. So glad that we have you guys both on the show here tonight. Let's get to it. So first things first, let's have some fun with last season. So in a few minutes' time, Gary, give us your thoughts, man. Last year was anything but memorable and anything but anything but good if it goes there. So, Packers last season, what you think?
Well, unfortunately, Buzz, the only thing good about last season was Week 1's victory over the Bears. I remember watching that game. I had just recently been married, and it was my first game watching the Packers with my now wife. And she turned to me after Deshaun Kaiser gifted a touchdown to the Bears and said, "Are they always this bad?"
Wow.
That wasn't great. But in that respect, we did have a good finish in that one. The Packers season last year was one of just endings. I think that you could look at 2018 for Green Bay a lot like the last year of Andy Reid in Philadelphia, the last year of Mike Shanahan in Dallas, maybe even in Denver, and Tom Coughlin with the Giants. Just kind of ran its course. Time to move on. And unfortunately, things got a little ugly with Rodgers and McCarthy's relationship at the end of the year. But I think there were a lot of positives in the losses that the Packers took. Developed a good nucleus of defenders that I think, certainly not to the level of the Bears, but on their way, and developed some good defensive coaching staff. So I liked what I saw from individuals on the Packers last year. I think that offensively they've got some good weapons coming back between Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Aaron Jones. But the 2018 season, man, was a stinker and one to forget. But not besides that Bears win. I'll probably always remember that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, somebody was going to have a mouthful to say right now because of, you guys did happen to get a big victory over a team who did lots of big things. I mean, there's what more can you say about this Bears team? Buzz, go ahead, man. Walk us through last season, and what were your thoughts on it?
Oh, last season was great. Obviously, the Bears overexceeded expectations coming into the season. Also, congratulations on getting married, bro. Throwing that out there. Yeah, thank you. No problem, brother. So, they overexceeded expectations last year, no doubt about it. They came out, they were a clutch defense, a dominant defense. The offense, I felt Mitch Trubisky did real well. He takes a lot of slack from national media, and I don't really understand it. If he's a serviceable guy, like an Alex Smith or something like that, it's Super Bowl, Super Bears all day. Week 1 sucked, of course. I mean, we were dominating the whole game, lost it in the second half. But to clinch the division, we beat those Green Bay Packers. So to become the NFC North champions. So I'll take that. Season ended on a horrible double doink, as Chris Collinsworth likes to call it. And if he's listening to this, I will not be nice. You suck, Chris Collinsworth. But hey man, it's all good. We're here to try to defend our NFC North championship, and this team got a lot better. The defense pretty much stayed the same for the most part. There's two notable new faces in the defense, and that is Clinton Dix. He's coming over from Washington, a longtime Packer, very effective player, and Buster Skrine. And I like him in this defense, especially just because Pagano likes to blitz a lot. Which with our front seven and how dominant it is, it's gonna really let these corners and these safeties, I think, shine. And in a new and improved, I think, defense, you're really playing up to the Bears' strengths. Running these guys in instead of dropping Khalil Mack back in coverage, which we should rarely do. We're going to be seeing him get to the quarterback a lot, man. So that's what I'm all about. I'm here to defend this title, and I can't wait to get out there tomorrow night.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for you, and this is going to be one great game. So with that said, guys, let's bully. Let's get into this thing. Let's have some fun and jump right on into the X Factors. So first things first, I want to know, guys, X Factors all day long. Who are they and why? So let's put a minute on the clock per and talk to us about your X Factors. So here we go. We'll start off with Mr. Gary, of course, the away team. Who are your X Factors in this team? That could be anything. One side of the ball, the other side of the ball, both sides of the ball, everybody if you want to. I mean, a specific player, a couple different players, one player on each side of the ball. Not the home stands for sure, because you don't have those this week. You're away, but you get the picture. Head coach, coaching staff, whichever you think. Kicker, punter, I'm just saying, whoever. Let us know who your X Factor is, or X Factors is for this, or X Factors are, that is, for this game. You have 1 minute on the clock. Begin.
All
All right, so I won't go ahead and pick Buzz's section because I think that might be his, but I'll go ahead and take Aaron Rodgers on third downs. So Rodgers, when Rodgers is on schedule and in rhythm in this Matt LaFleur offense, we're going to hopefully see an additional kind of benefit on third downs. I think we're going to see him looking more at Devontae Adams. So to give you an idea, last year the Packers on third downs converted about 37%. When Rodgers targeted Devontae Adams, they actually converted 47% of the time. So I think this offense is going to be a little bit more geared towards getting the ball into the playmakers. At training camp, they kept complaining that they're throwing to Rodgers to Adams too often. So that's a good problem probably for Packers fans. Got a good number one receiver there in Devontae Adams. But I think Rodgers on third down in this new offense, it's going to be something. Will be interesting to see what that exactly looks like on Thursday night.
Okay, right at the buzzer. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so here comes the fun part. Buzz, defend your team, man. Why won't that work? If you want to agree, I mean, if it does work, what do you think? Why won't that work, or why will that work against your Bears? You have 30 seconds. Begin.
It won't work, but I will say that Aaron Rodgers is always an X factor because I'm not a Bears. Like, I hate the Packers, don't get me wrong, but you got to respect what the guy's done. Great quarterback. But this new and improved defense is the X factor because they're not going to let Green Bay score. It's point blank, period. He's not going to be able to get the ball off. He's going to have to do, he's going to have to do three-step quick drop backs trying to get that ball out. It's not going to work. He's going to have too much pressure with Eddie Goldman coming up the middle. You have Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Leonard Floyd. It's going to be a rough time for him. My X factor is the Chicago Bears defense. Because we know the Packers defense isn't going to be able to stop that offense. Their defense isn't talented enough to do it.
Well, there you go. I mean, because you included your X factor. I was going to give you a minute to go ahead but if you want to go ahead and elaborate, or you just want to take the minute, why not, man? So, okay, so go ahead and elaborate on why the Bears defense is the X factor for your Bears. You have 1 minute. Begin.
Well, when you're the most dominant team in the NFL, dominant defense in the NFL, that is, they're always going to be your X factor because that's what wins you ball games. Defense wins championships. That's always going to be the X factor going week in and week out. If the offense can come in and do their job with new and improved running backs in the backfield and Mike Davis and David Montgomery, that offense is going to be just fine. Going with the defense, if all they need to do is pressure Aaron Rodgers, and we did that in both contests last year. So that being said, that's the X factor. You have Khalil Mack coming up. Again, Leonard Floyd. You have our secondary with Clinton Dix, which is an improvement over Adrian Amos. I know a lot of Packer fans want to yell at me till they're blue in the face about that, but watch the tape. 9 missed tackles last year for Adrian Amos, blown coverage constantly. I'm telling you, man, this defense for the Bears, new and improved, especially in a blitzing defense with Chuck Pagano's defense, it's a wrap.
Well, even before the buzzer, I got done even with 6 minutes or 6 seconds to spare. Well, there you go. All right, well, this is back to you now, Mr. Gary. Get 30 seconds on the clock and let us know. I mean, hey, if you want to agree, and hey, cool. But if not, then tell us why that won't work or why they won't be too much to worry about. Was the next factor? I just got to say, though, as a fan of the game, I'm pretty sure they're going to get their licks. But Gary, go ahead, man. Defend your team in 30 seconds.
So I do agree that the Bears are going to get their sacks. They're going to get to Rodgers. What I don't agree with is that the Bears defense can replicate what they did in 2018. Certainly quality players, elite players throughout, but 27 interceptions in today's NFL last year for the Bears, I don't think that's repeatable. Most teams had about 15 to 21 interceptions last year. I don't think the Bears can get back to 27, especially with the stone-handed Clinton Dix. And believe me, I've watched enough of it.
Okay, there we go. I can feel it coming now. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the fun part. This is basically just picking a weakness. This is the part where we usually get a lot of clashing of heads, and well, this is basically the line of scrimmage of the show. Let's just say that. With that said, all right, y'all, here we go. 1 minute on the clock per. We'll start once again with the away team, Mr. Gary. Gary, let us know, man. Pick out a weakness on the Bears and how the Packers can and will exploit that weakness to help you guys earn that first victory of the season on the road in Soldier Field. You have 1 minute. Begin.
So So I think there's there's one major weakness, and it's Clinton Dix. Just as Amos probably is for the Bears, it's always best to go against guys that you practiced against, and nobody knows Clinton Dix better than Aaron Rodgers. Practiced against him for 4 years, almost 5 years total. I think Clinton Dix has his weaknesses in his game, and if the Packers can hold their offensive line in enough time to give Rodgers to go deep, I think Clinton Dix is a vulnerability for the Packers. Now, certainly. Interested to see what you have to say, Buzz, but I'm going against my own guy. I gotta defend the traitor.
Look at that! With time to spare, Buzz, you have 30 seconds. Defend your team.
Oh, it's easy to defend him on that. If we're going to use that as Clinton Dix as being the weakest link, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and Clinton Dix is a very serviceable defensive back and would start on most NFL, if not all NFL teams if he was there. So I'll take that all day. The front seven is going to get to Rodgers so consistently that Clinton Dix is going to make a play if he has to. I mean, he's a ball hawk. He's got 14 career interceptions. He's a bad man. So I'm gonna take that all day, man. You could think that, but Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be able to get the ball off deep because he'd be getting sacked.
Oh, boy. Well, here we go. Now we're going to switch it around. Buzz, pick out a weakness on the Packers that you think you guys can exploit and help those Bears get that first victory of the season at home. You have 1 minute. Begin.
It's always hard to pick out a weakness for the Packers, especially coming from me as a Bears fan, because I'll tell you right now, I've seen the Packers beat up on the Bears for years and years until, there was a couple stretches where the Bears got their licks in and whatnot, and that was great. But as far as this year goes, a rookie head coach who doesn't really have a lot of clout behind him. A lot of people weren't happy with the hire. That's going to be a weakness for them, and I truly believe that their offense, this defense is just going to make their offense a weakness. That's all it is, man. Like, I truly believe in this Bears defense. I've never been so hyped up about a Bears team in my life. So this is something that's going to, that's going to be their weakness. Their weakness is getting the ball off and getting plays off, because I really do feel that the defense is going to hamper them and really drive this game home.
Oh, well, all right. Well, with time to spare, all right. You have 30 seconds. Gary, defend your team.
So I do agree that this is the most scared I've been of a Bears team probably since 2007, coming off their Super Bowl appearance. To your point on LaFleur, we ran a poll on the Power Sweep, but we had about 500 Packer fans vote, and LaFleur only has a 48% approval rating among Packer fans. So I'll join in that. I don't know if we know what LaFleur is. Certainly we know less about him than we knew about Nagy going into last year. So I think that's a very legitimate weakness.
Okay, well, there you have it, right at the buzzer. So, okay, legitimate weakness. There you go. So some agreements there, some disagreements. Let's go ahead and get on to the final game plan, y'all. So first things first, it'll be once again 1 minute, and let's have some fun with this, guys. Game plan. So once again, starting with the away team. Gary, what is your game plan for the Packers to win this thing and shock the Bears in a very, very tough game to start off not just each other's season, but the entire NFL season? You have 1 minute. How do the Packers defeat the Bears?
Well, it's a tough one. When Mike McCarthy was first hired in 2006, his first opponent was the Chicago Bears. I was at that game at Lambeau Field, and they got blanked 26-0. It was awful. I worry about that happening again. So for me, the game plan involves scoring points. So John Madden type commentary from you there. I do think that if we can hold Trubisky's inside the pocket and to a passer rating under, say, about 75% or 75, I think we got a good shot. Unfortunately, the Bears have won 4 of 5 when Trubisky's under 75% or 75 passer rating. But I like our odds on that. If we can get a couple turnovers, move the ball. But I don't think that the offense is going to do much against the Bears defense. I tend to be with you, Buzz. I think we're going to have a tough time moving the ball.
Okay, well, there you have it. So, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw this in there right now. So, Gary, let's be realistic. Or if you want to, hey, I'm a diehard fan too, and it's hard to not pick your team. So, with that said, Gary, who are you taking in this game? Are you taking your Packers, taking the Bears? And give us a final score if you would like to.
Sure thing. So, I think that, from my perspective, this game is a toss-up. These rivalries, the records don't really matter. All the platitudes you hear when there's college football, NFL rivalries. What I do think is interesting is the kicker situation in Chicago. If this is a close game and there's a potential game-winning kick for either side, boy, that is going to be one heck of a drama-fueled time. So I'll take the Packers by 3 just because I got to represent the Cheeseheads. I'll say maybe 17-14, but no result will surprise me. I've been through this rivalry enough to know that just about anything can and will happen.
Alrighty, well, with that said, you heard his game plan, Buzz. So first things first, let's just put a full minute and a half on the board for you, because this is going to be a minute, plus your 30 seconds. So kind of rebuttal that and talk about why his game plan won't work or why it may be effective. And then, of course, give us your final weigh-in and your game plan for the Bears to defeat the Packers. And then, of course, go ahead and throw in your final score if you'd like.
All right, so with the offensive line being as good as it is for the Chicago Bears, keeping Mitch in the pocket's going to be tough enough as it is. So I think that you can agree with that the offensive line the Bears have put together is stellar, probably one of the most elite offensive lines in the NFL today. Plus, getting Mitch out of that pocket as well. I mean, he could stand in there and could throw. We've seen many a times that he's done it. He can create plays with his feet. It's going to be containing Mitch, but it's not just being scared of Mitch. It's being scared of the weapons around him. The speedsters that are going to be on the field, I'm looking to see a lot of dual back sets with David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. A red flag that comes up right away is that Trey Burton is questionable for tomorrow. We don't know if he's going to play yet. It's going to be a game-time decision, so the tight end spot might be a little weak. You might be getting Saul and Adam Shaheen out there. So, but his game plan's completely on point, though, dude. Like, you got to try to get to Mitch, get this offense off, and hope that your offense, being the Packers, can make something happen against the defense. My game plan going in tomorrow is kill or be killed. That's what it is. It's kill or be killed tomorrow. You're going to go in there. You have to perform. Mitch has a bunch of shiny new weapons. He's got Riley Ridley. He's got Anthony Miller, who's coming back on his second year after leading the team with 7 touchdowns last year. Allen Robinson is in this offense for another year, healthy, coming off that ACL tear that he had last year. He did play a full year or whatever, but another year in this offense. You have Javon Wims. We have more big bodies and more speedsters, such as Taylor Gabriel as well. Looking to see a lot of wheel routes out of the backfield with these running backs. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. My X factor is contain that offense, do what contain that Packers offense, do what you do on defense, and make it happen.
Alrighty, final score if you would like. What do you think?
Final score is going to be 100-0 Bears.
I love it. Alrighty, well, real quick, 30 seconds for you. Real fast, what do you think of his game plan there, Mr. Gary? And, go ahead and defend your team if you'd like. What do you think?
Well, I feel like I should have picked the Packers 100-0 as well, so I'll go ahead and amend my final score there.
You can't do that, Gary.
The true spirit of rivalry. You're right. That was my bad. But I think that the weapons of the Bears do surprise me. Right? They all of a sudden the Bears for so many years have just had a terrible offense. I remember when Rex Grossman had a big game against the Packers and how embarrassing it was to go talk to my friends the next day about how the Packers defense lost to Rex. So I'm excited to see what the Bears do. But yeah, they got some weapons on offense.
Alrighty, well, with that said, y'all, there's only one thing left to do here tonight, and that, of course, is see who these diehard fans who've been voting all week long think is going to win this thing, and I haven't even seen this, guys. I really haven't since I put it up. I saw a little bit of it, on Monday, but, so here we go, y'all. I know I put the voting to be up a little bit later, because I misjudged it, because I forgot we had 4 primetime face-offs tonight, not 3, so I put it at the time that it would be for if it were 3, so I haven't even looked at it, so let's go back in time here on the IE Sports Radio feed. Actually, it's my feed, I'm sorry. I put it up on mine this week, so, well, at least for this game, and let's go all the way back to Monday and see who these diehard fans went with. This one got a ton of votes, and I'm really excited to see who is ahead, because right now we're just going to call it quits. That's the end of this, and, well, we're going to go ahead and get to the final there. If you want to go ahead and just continue to vote, and my apologies, too. I forgot to tell everybody to get on the poll and vote. My apologies. It was on my page, but is what it is. So for those of you who voted, well, thank you very much. We had a ton of you vote this week, so I really appreciate you for all of our games. But with that said, here we go, y'all. With 64, wow, with 64% of the votes, you, the listeners, are going with the Bears to win this thing. I mean, 64%, that is overwhelming. Like, I thought it'd be a little bit closer than that. My gosh, where are the cheeseheads at? Like, apparently they didn't get this voting poll or something, but wow. I mean, don't forget though, a lot of diehards of football voted on this thing. Usually our usual listeners for the show, and 64% of them think that these Bears are going to win it. So with that said, quick and dirty, your thoughts on the final voting poll, Buzz?
Oh, it's fantastic, man. I mean, the Bears are going to start getting some damn recognition around here for being a good team. Sick of seeing Chicago not even mentioned in any national media outlets. So, it's good to see that fans are voting for the Bears because they respect to see what Ryan Pace has built in Chicago in a short amount of time here. We have a dominant team. I truly do believe that, with $22 million still in cap space. So I'll tell you something right now, man. Bears are starting to get recognized. And it's time. It's Super Bowl or bust, man.
I like it. Well, with that said, Gary, any comments on that before we get to your guys' plugs at the end of the segment?
Well, sure. Disappointed to lose the poll there, but I can rest easy at night knowing that I have the NFL's most handsome head coach in Matt LaFleur.
But does he wear a visor, Gary?
We'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
All right, y'all. With that said, of course, I got to give you your moments. Y'all have to, because thank you so much. First things first, was that applause button. Thank you both so much for being on today's show. You made it that much better. Really gave us that was a fun debate, guys. I really appreciate you guys being on today's show, and thank you for your time here today. Hopefully, all your listeners enjoyed it. And let's go ahead and jump right on into your guys' plugs. So we'll start off once again with the away team. Gary, go ahead, man. Tell us all about what you do, where they can find you on Twitter, where they can find all your work, all your good stuff, man. Let us know.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be with everyone here, and Buzz, have fun at the game tomorrow. But you can go ahead and follow me at the Power Sweep. So that's at the Power Sweep. You can also check out thepowersweep.com. And my co-host John Meerdink runs a podcast called Blue 58, Everything Packers All the Time. Go ahead and check that out. Really pleased and happy to be here.
Alrighty, Buzz, go ahead, man. Plug yourself.
All right, man. So be sure to go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. We have cover every major Chicago sports team. We have a White Sox podcast called Sox on Tap, a Cubs podcast called Cubs on Tap. We have Bears on Tap, Bulls on Tap. We will be launching Blackhawks on Tap here when the season gets underway. You can follow me on Twitter at BuzzOnTap. And yeah, man, that's the most important thing. Check out ontapsportsnet.com. We're making waves over here in the Chicagoland area. And if anybody's going to the game that's listening to this, you're hitting up Soldier Field tomorrow at 7:30. We will be out in South Lot, right off 18th Street, throwing a tailgate. Got a bunch of people confirmed coming out. We got steaks, burgers, sausages, the whole nine, and we got beer. So come on through.
Yeah, sounds like a great time. I mean, I'm over here in Southern California, but that'd be awesome to check out that game for sure. I'll tell you that. So, with that said, gentlemen, that was awesome. Appreciate you both so very much for being on today's show. And, with that said, y'all, we're going to take ourselves a short break. When we get back, guess what? It's time for Primetime Face-Off number 2. That's right, y'all. Sunday Night Football. This is quite the rivalry. Even though it's not really a rivalry, let's just say it's a rivalry. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's start things off here with Sunday Night Football, coming back with Matt Hames and IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer, you guessed it, Pete Garofalo, to talk about Sunday Night Football as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New England Patriots. With that said, we'll see you on the other side of this break. Once again, you're listening to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you right after this.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before, you got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio. 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani GBvsCHI, and of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Good day, folks. Yours truly, Nico Green here, reminding you, tune in to the Neutral Zone Hockey Talk Radio Show, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, proudly brought to you by IE Sports Radio. It's the Neutral Zone. All hockey, all the time. Take care. See you soon.
What up, all you boxing fans? This is Vince Wright, the sports governor, and me and Gilbert Batista are the host of Ringside on IE Sports Radio. Make sure you keep it tuned to IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com for the latest edition of Ringside. All the boxing news you need right here. Keep it tuned, Spreaker.com, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan? Indeed.
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Good evening, sports fans. This is me, your boy Larry B, bringing you yet another action-packed, wall-to-wall episode of The Defining Moment right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Phil Robinson here at IE Sports Radio, taking this moment to welcome you
to storm down the lane on the Fast Break Show with me and my man Phil Jones right now.
Hey everybody, it's the host of the fastest show on IE Sports Radio, Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take a lap of the extra mile with me and my co-hosts Lolita Camillo, Caitlin Seam, and Michael Ward as we go through all of the news and updates in NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, and more. That's the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio.
Hello, lovelies. Caitlin Seam here, host of Not What It Seems, where nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. On IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Two Wheels Wednesday with Matt White, taking you inside the pit lane of British Superbike, World Superbike, and the big one, MotoGP.
Hey everyone, this is Felicia, the First Lady of IE Sports Radio and one of your esteemed co-hosts of Ring Rambling Radio, along with Martine Sandoval and Matt Petrushka, for all of your wrestling news and talk, from everything from WWE to Ring of Honor, All Elite Wrestling, New Japan, anything you like. Be sure to catch us right here on IE Sports Radio.
Hey there, hockey fans. This is Cal Henderson
with Nico Green.
And we are welcoming you to join us on the Neutral Zone presented by IE Sports Radio throughout the hockey season.
Buddy, let me tell you, hockey's never been hotter, and neither has the Neutral Zone.
You definitely don't want to miss it, so tune in to youtube.com, IE Sports Radio, or IESportsRadio.com for all things that are hockey.
Hey everyone. Welcome back, y'all. Sorry to cut that short. I know it's a great commercial. I love hearing it every time. We'll play it in a little bit. But with that said, kind of went on to that one there. Had a little bit of audio difficulty here, unfortunately, but it happens, and that's just the way things go sometimes. But with that said, we are right back at it for Primetime Face-Off number 2 on the night. Oh, yeah, it was an eventful one, that first one. I liked that. That was a lot of fun. Definitely, I hope everybody had a great time. And, well, this next one is going to be really fun as well. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's just cut to the chase and get on to Primetime Face-Off number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Sunday Night Football. Here we go, Steelers versus Go Pats. Patriots, baby. Here we go. With that said, welcoming back to the show, his second time on air. And somebody that is just, I'm so glad he's able to be here today, because he gives Callum a run for his money with the trash talk. I love it, man. Great dude here. And what can I say, man? He's one of a kind when it comes to being a diehard, man. That's all there is to it. He's a Utes fan, without a doubt, over there from Utah. And what can I say? The guy's an all-around diehard Steelers fan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming for the second time here on 3 Now, and hopefully the second time of many, many, many more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, the one, the only, Mr. Matt Hames. How's it going, Matt?
Good. How you doing, Larry B? Good.
Yeah, I'm doing my
glad
best
to be back on the show here. How's AB treating you?
Well, if you must, the AB soap opera continues on a team that, let's just be realistic, I still don't have very high standards for. That's all there is to it. So with that said,
well, you're the first real Raiders fan I've met then, so that's great.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I have more hopes right now for our quarterbackless USC Trojans than I do for the Raiders, who have everybody. Seriously.
There you go.
I seriously do. So, with that said, here we go, y'all. Where's that drum roll, y'all? With that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back IE Sports Radio, a Hall of Famer, yes, and diehard New England Patriots fan, and somebody who was on the show last time on 8 Division 8 Days, and literally had the only thing to complain about the Patriots. Mike Pat, you remember this. The only thing he had to complain about with the Patriots was what?
I believe it was the amount of brisket they put on the brisket sandwiches at Gillette Stadium.
Literally, guys, Mr. Pete here kind of just went off on the Patriots. Like, he really did. Like, it wasn't fun. It was hilarious. He just was not having fun there with the brisket. So, with that said, y'all, let's jump right into the... we went overtime, but it's okay. We'll clean it up at the end. But technology was not working with us. Skype was not working with us, so I had to spend a little more time. So, but maybe about 10 more minutes over what it should be, but it's okay. So with that said, let's start things off with That's exactly 10 minutes, by the way. So let's start things off here with the first question of the night, and that is going to come from my colleague, Mr. Mike Pat. So, gentlemen, please keep your responses within about 2 minutes range, just so that way we can kind of get through this whole thing. We've got 2 more face-offs coming up here. Tonight's just jam-packed because there's 4 of these, not 3, the usual, because there's 2 Monday night games. So, with that said, Mike, the floor is yours, man. Ask a question each to Mr. Matt Hames about his Steelers and to Mr. Pete Garofalo about his New England Patriots.
Alrighty, well, I think, in all fairness and all honor, let us start with the defending Super Bowl champions and the New England Patriots and Mr. Pete. Pete, Patriots, historically very deep roster over the past 20 years. That's been one of the underrated strengths of this team. Everybody thinks, it's all, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and the running backs that can catch 20 balls a game. But really, overall, this team has been very deep. But my main question is about the offensive line. Because in the offseason, you guys lost a very talented offensive lineman in Trenton Brown to the Oakland Raiders. There you go, Larry. And additionally, there's been news that longtime center, one of the better underrated centers in the league, David Andrews, is going to miss a significant chunk of the season, if not the entire chunk of the season. So that's 2 new starters, 2 very important starters on the offensive line. So how do you think this team is going to adjust, and who fills those shoes?
All right. Well, the Patriots have always been a team about next man up. Back in 2008, they lost, the one guy that you don't want to lose, Tom Brady. They lost him in the first half of the first game. And, it fell on Matt Castle, who was basically an unknown, and he did very well. So I think they will be fine. I know Ted Karras is basically penciled in to be the center to at least to start the year. He's been with the team 4 years. He's fine. I think they'll be fine. The line is a strength. Mason's there. Cannon's starting. Isaiah Wynn. So I don't see it being an issue. And the tight ends, as far as what they got from Gronkowski, tight ends, the way I see it, is that they're going to be more of a lineman this year. So that's also going to help the line. So I think the line will be fine.
All right, very good. Vote of confidence. I agree, the Patriots have definitely always been a next man up team, and so it's next man up. All right, so now moving on to Matt. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
That's not my question. I was just, proper introduction.
That's all the time we have.
Yep, that's it. Moving on.
Apologies to Matt Damon, but we ran out of time.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Steelers lost some pretty big name guys as well in the offseason. Antonio Brown, as you alluded to, but also Le'Veon Bell. Everybody obviously followed that saga. So it was a pretty dramatic offseason, but from a distraction standpoint, the team's probably a little bit better off overall. But from a talent standpoint, everybody's pretty well acquainted that James Conner, who filled in for Le'Veon Bell last year, and he will definitely be holding that mantle again. But in terms of Antonio Brown's production, a lot of production loss there. We know Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be one starter for this team, but he's already catching 80, 90 passes a season, so I don't think he's going to instantly jump up to 180 and completely make up for the loss in production. So who are the receivers that we need to look for to make up for the loss of Antonio Brown?
Well, they've only kept 5 receivers on the squad this year, which it surprised me. I thought they would keep a 6th, but I like where the Steelers' offense is going to have to spread the ball out more, to be honest with you, without Antonio Brown, because I think that's a lot of where Ben Roethlisberger's interceptions were last year. If you watched all their games like I did, a lot of his passes that he threw were to, jam it down to Antonio Brown to keep him happy. Even if he's triple coverage sometimes, he's still throwing the ball to Antonio Brown. So I really do like that he's not on the team. I recognize that there is going to be a little bit of a talent drop-off there, but they signed Dante Moncrief in the offseason from Jacksonville. And I think that, and he's going to start the game on Sunday night. But I think it's just a matter of time, honestly, before James Washington takes over for Dante Moncrief, and I think he's the one that you really need to circle and watch this year. He had a tremendous preseason, not only last year, but this year, catching really everything. And the Steelers have a trend of having second-year wide receivers kind of break out. They had it with Antonio Brown. They had it with Juju, Mike Wallace when they had him. And I think James Washington is the one you really need to watch this year. And honestly, I think give it 2 to 3 weeks and he'll surpass Moncrief on the depth chart as the number 2 receiver. But Moncrief he'll do well in his spot as well. I don't think he'll blow anything off the stats, but I think that he'll do well.
All right, that works for me. Back to you, Larry.
All right, well, great questions there, Mr. Mike, and love the responses, gentlemen, from True Diehard. So with that said, let's jump into the debate, gentlemen. This is going to be some fun stuff. So first and foremost, X Factors. I love them, you love them, we all love the X Factors. So with 1 minute on the clock, Mr. Matt Hames, let us know, man, who are your X Factors for this game and why?
My X factors for this game, I think Juju is going to be covered, probably even double covered all game. Bill Belichick does do a great job of scheming, and I think James Washington, like I just said, is going to be the X factor with him playing on the outside. I think you're looking at 7-8 catches, over 100 yards, hopefully a touchdown or two. I also think James Conner and Jalen Samuels, the running backs, are going to be the X factors for the game. For the Steelers, over the last 2 years, they've played New England. They've had their way running the ball against the Patriots, and I think that's going to continue with their offensive line as their strength. And also, that's really they're going to have to be their offense now. Without Antonio Brown, they're going to be more of a run-first offense, and I think James Conner and Jalen Samuels are going to dominate. I think James Conner has 2 touchdowns. Jalen Samuels maybe 5 catches for 50 yards. I think they're going to be a more balanced offense is what we're going to see, and those 3 I think are going to be the X factors.
Right at the buzzer. Great job. Okay, well, with that said, pretty darn good X Factors there. Pete, let us know. 1 minute's time. Who are your X Factors for this game?
Okay. Biggest X Factor, Philip Dorsett. I've been very high on him for a long time. Even now, I mean, he's listed as first as a starter on the depth chart. But people still don't, he doesn't get the respect, but he's been in the system for a few years. He knows it. He's probably the most experienced receiver they have aside from Julian Edelman. And, Edelman will be covered like Schuster will be covered. And I think there's a window for Dorsett to really have a big game and to really burst on the scene. And all the fantasy league guys are all going to be going nuts trying to pick him up next week.
Okay, well.
In my draft, he went undefeated. Also, Matt Lacoste, the new tight end they got from Denver. I think he could do something. And the running backs, the committee, any one of those guys.
Well, without a doubt, Sonny Michel is somebody to be scared of. So absolutely, I like it. Good X Factors there, gentlemen. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on into these, you listed the X Factors, and they're great players. So let's go ahead and jump on into, this is where people usually butt heads, and this is going to be the fun part of the segment, as it always is. Gentlemen, this is the weaknesses. Call out the weakness and how your team can and will exploit that weakness. So, Matt, start us off, man. Once again, you are the away team. So start us off. You have 1 minute on the clock. What is something that you seriously feel that the Pittsburgh Steelers are better at doing? And how can they exploit that? So seriously, like anything you could think of, what can the Pittsburgh Steelers take advantage of that you feel is a weakness on the Patriots to help upset, well, I don't know if you can call it an upset, but to help defeat them on the road in week number 1? You have 1 minute, begin.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if it's much of a weakness on New England as it is a strong point on Pittsburgh, but I think that the Steelers' offensive line versus the Patriots' defensive line the Steelers have built their offensive line through the draft, and they're a top 3 in the NFL, and I think that's going to be the difference maker is their offensive line pounding and running the ball with James Conner. I mean, you saw at the beginning of last year, before Conner got hurt, he was running hog wild all over the NFL, catching the ball out of the backfield, running the ball, and I think that is going to be the difference maker in the game is James Conner. Like I said, I think he has 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards, and then Jalen Samuels coming out of the backfield. They want to run both of them out of the backfield kind of as a mix there, so I think that'll be the difference maker there, and to take advantage of the New England defensive line.
Okay, well, great stuff there, and perfect just in time. Okay, now here it comes. Pete, tell us, man, in 30 seconds, why that will or why that won't work for the Steelers.
Well, I mean, as far as just the defensive line and because that's what he said, right? The defensive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Belichick is just masterful at making adjustments, and if he can't get to Edelman, he'll get to Dorsett. If he can't get to Dorsett, he'll get to Demaryius Thomas. If Sony Michel doesn't have it, he'll go with James White. I mean, he just changes things on a moment's notice. And I mean, Brady just, they use the passive ball control, and just I think that's what they're gonna do.
Okay, well there you have it. Let's go ahead and move on.
Do I get to respond to that?
You get to respond to his weakness. But if you'd like
I was going to say because Jalen Samuels last year, they didn't really have an adjustment for him all game when Pittsburgh beat New England, and that was his first start, and he ran hog wild. So
love it. All right, well, next up, let's go backwards now. So Pete, go ahead, man. What's something you feel that a weakness on the Steelers that you feel that the Patriots can take advantage of to help win your first game of the season at home? And you're probably going to be there, Pete. So go ahead, man. 1 minute on the clock. Begin.
Okay. I think the offense, I mean, there's a big change. I mean, like Samuels was able to have, like Matt said, had a big game against the Patriots last year, which Patriots did not win. They'll be ready for him this time, and they'll be ready for Connor. I don't think the Steelers will miss Antonio Brown, but I think there's a lot of, other than Schuster, I think there's a lot of guys that, need to step up that, and the Patriots secondary is a big strength. They just have great guys. They have very good players on the secondary. And I think just if they control the passing game, force them to run, keep them out of the end zone, they should win. And that's really what it comes down to. If they don't score touchdowns, they don't win.
Okay, well, there you go. All right. Well, it's a little more of I like that. It's a little more critique on the Patriots than it is a weakness on the Steelers. So, okay, well, hey, whichever you'd like to say, Matt, defend your team.
Yeah, I liked that response, and he to be honest, he's right. The Steelers are going to have to get creative with their schemes. I don't think they showed a lot of their hand in preseason, obviously, for obvious reasons of what they're going to come up with without Antonio Brown in their offense. I do expect Juju to get double teamed basically all game. If the Steelers are going to pull out the win, then Dante Moncrief and James Washington are going to have a big game. If those two don't have a big game, then just like he said, I do think that the Patriots could win that game, but it'll be interesting. I do think that the Steelers will step up, though. I think that you're seeing just a couple seconds. I think it kind of reminds me of 2 years ago when the Chiefs and Patriots played on opening night, and the Chiefs came in there and won. They kind of shocked the world. I feel like the Steelers kind of have that going for them because they've been, brutalized all off season for how they've handled the team with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. And I think they're going to come out with a lot to prove.
I agree, and this is a very punch for punch type of game. This is seriously like a heavyweight fight. It's so cliche to say that, but it's so true. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump on in now to the game plan. This is always a lot of fun, and jump on to, of course, the end of the segment. But when it comes to the game plan, this could be interesting, guys. It really could be, because we have two coaches that are complete masterminds. So with that said, first up, Matt, let us know. Once again, you are the away team, so let us know. What is your game plan for the Steelers? What must they do to defeat these Patriots on the road? You have 1 minute. Begin.
They have to, there's a couple keys. They have to, no matter what, establish the run. That is the number one priority. They have to get James Conner going, and if they do that, they can set up the play action to over the middle to Vance McDonald and possibly Juju, James Washington. I think you're going to see a lot of not just under center running the ball, but I think you're going to see a lot of a spread offense, kind of what they had the last few years, but more kind of critiquing it to come out of running the ball out of shotgun with James Conner, just getting a little bit more creative with their offense. The other key is their defense has got to stop the Patriots offense. They led the league sacks last year, so I'm expecting that their outside linebackers, TJ Watt and Bud Dupree, will step up, more than likely Watt more than Dupree. And then I'm excited to see Devin Bush. They traded up to get him, and he's looked like a monster in preseason. So if they can slow down Sony Michel and then stop the Patriots offense, obviously, then I think they have a good chance to win.
I like it. Okay, great game planning there. Okay, so Pete, give us 30 seconds here. What do you think about that game plan? Pretty good, or do you think it's just not going to be enough to stop these Patriots?
No, I think the Steelers are going to be very tough. I mean, the Steelers are a good team. I think they're actually better off now that they've got rid of Bell and Brown. I think they'll be better off in the long run. I think they're better off now as a team because the guys that are there want to be there. I think the Patriots just need to do what they do all the time. Just ball control, get in the end zone, get the momentum. The defense drives me bananas with the bend don't break. Keep them out of the end zone.
Alrighty. Well, you're actually going into your game plan. You were going right into your game plan, so go ahead, man. I'll throw a minute on the clock and go right ahead, man. Continue your game plan for these Patriots to beat the Steelers.
My game plan for the Patriots to beat the Steelers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think what you do, I think they need to strike quick, establish the passing game. I think, like I said, I think Dorsett's going to he's going to have a 100-yard game. And I think that, I don't know if the Steelers are necessarily ready for that. When you do that, it's going to open up Edelman. It's going to open up Demaryius Thomas. It's going to open up some of the tight ends. It's going to open up Sony Michel, who they're trying to get into the passing game. Michel runs. He's not your traditional, bellwether, but he's basically the best running back they have. I mean, on defense, they've got, strong safeties, strong secondary, Harmon, Gilmore, the McCourty brothers. And I think just as long as they can keep them out of the end zone, I think they'll be fine.
Alrighty, well, 30-second rebuttal here against the game plan. Matt, what do you think? Good, bad game plan? Why will it work? Why won't it work? What do you think?
I mean, it's a good game plan. It's what I expect to happen. If the Patriots are going to win that game, though, it's going to be through the air. I don't think their running game is going to do much. The Steelers' front seven is pretty stout with Cameron Hayward and Hargrave, Stephon Tuitt, and then just adding Devin Bush to that, and with TJ Watt, I think that they will shut down the run game of the Patriots. I'm not too worried about Julian Edelman just because we have Joe Hayden on the other side, but it'll be interesting with Steven Nelson, his first game with Pittsburgh, because like I said when I was on the show earlier, I've seen good and I've seen bad from him, so he will have to try to contain Philip Dorsett. So the secondary, I think, is what will be the difference in the game, and we'll see if the Steelers rise up.
Alrighty, well, there you have it, gentlemen. So, okay, well, we have pretty much reached the end here, but I gotta know, before we get to the final, if you guys are comfortable with it. I know some people, are superstitious, and that's okay. But, Matt, start us off, man. your Steelers, well, first of all, are you picking your team to win? And, of course, why will they win it, and what is your final score?
I think they win mainly with the motivation of not anything to do really. I mean, I know they're huge. Patriots are their huge rival, but I think this is more of a kind of come out and show the world that we're more than Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and we're a closer team. I think they. That's all the motivation they need at the moment to come in there and show the world on national TV. I think that it'll be a close game throughout, as the last couple have been. They've gone to the wire, but I think the Steelers pull it out this time. We'll go 31-24.
Okay, I like it. All right, Pete, your turn, man. What you think?
I think this is going to be a real tough game. I mean, I think Pittsburgh, they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think they've got a lot to prove. Like Matt said, I don't think this is going to be an easy game. I think there's going to be times where the Patriots fans get really frustrated. But in the end, Brady's going to come through and call it 24-20 New England.
Alrighty, well, there it is, gentlemen. There's only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, go to Twitter. Well, here we go. We had the voting poll up for quite some time, actually the last day or 2 days, and let's see who these listeners have taken to win this thing on Sunday night. And here we go. I have not seen this thing lately, and oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I'm just letting you know, I've been keeping track on this thing, except for like the last day, and the Patriots had an insurmountable lead. Okay, they seriously were way ahead. Steelers were creeping up. Earlier I saw they were tied. More votes were coming in. I believe so, and if not, it stayed, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time this has ever happened on 3 and Out. 50% of each of you have said it. 50%. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a draw. This has never happened. Look at that. That just goes to show you how good this game is really going to be. Oh my gosh. 50% of you and 50% of you. Matt, your thoughts on the listeners' vote?
I think that's just about what I've honestly been, what me and excuse me if I butcher this, Pete. I believe Pete have been saying that it's going to be a very close game. The last few games have literally came down to the wire. There was that, obviously, 2 years ago, that Jesse James, non-catch at the end, and then, last year with the Steelers coming out with Brady throwing that pick kind of at the end in the red zone there. I think people know that this is going to be a tight game, and a lot of people don't really know how to pick. You know what I mean? It's kind of a flip of a coin.
I agree. What do you think, Pete?
I agree. I mean, I think it's, the first 2 weeks, everybody's feeling everybody else out. I mean, I think both these teams are good. I think they both have strengths and weaknesses. They match up well with each other. I get it. I don't think, I could make an argument for Pittsburgh just as easy as I can make an argument for New England. I mean, I was at the game with Kansas City a couple of years ago. I was positive that the Patriots would win. I was absolutely positive. And they got destroyed. It happened.
That was a good one, and I'm really excited for this game on Sunday, even now more so than these guys. I love it. I absolutely love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I just got a really funny tag in a tweet by Mr. Matt Hames. I just gotta tell you that right now. So, with that said, thank you, sir, for the comment. But with that said, gentlemen, that was awesome. I thank you so much for being a part of today's show. You guys were awesome. With that said, Mr. Matt, where can these Die-Hard Steelers find you on Twitter?
Say that again, Larry B.
Oh, sorry about that. It says, Mr. Matt, where can these Die-Hard Steelers fans find you on Twitter?
Hey, my Twitter handle is @Matty, MATTY. HAM, like for Matt ES. I'm on there always talking Steelers football, fantasy football, and honestly, first time ever breaking news I have finally found, and it's taken years to find a realistic Oakland Raiders fan, and trust me, I've been battling them literally all summer long, and they just don't give up. I could tag their Twitter handles here too, but I'll save you guys the hassle. But this is good stuff. So at Larry B here is the first realistic Raiders fan I've seen, and to top it all off, Pete is the first realistic Patriots fan. So I just gave him a follow too. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Pete is an IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer in the inaugural IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame, and it's for a reason. He's a great guy, and what can I say, man? He knows the sports, but he's also very realistic. Pete, also, where can these dire Patriots, if they haven't already followed you a long time ago on one of our many shows we've had you on, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? They can find me at PGAR58. That's PGAR 58. And that's also my handle on Instagram and Facebook. So, and if anybody's at the game on Sunday evening, I'm in Section 101. I'll be there with my brother. Come by and say hi.
Well, wish we could. I'm over here in SoCal, but it'd be awesome to go over there in New England and see those games.
I followed Matt too. I said that's the best. I told you that's the best thing about going on this show. I mean, I don't know necessarily if I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but I always enjoy going on the show because, you know, it's always good to get your reps, and you always meet good guys. Like Matt is clearly, you know, I mean, he's a passionate Steelers fan, and he's realistic, and he's respectful, and that's big, you know. And I mean, I try to be very even-keeled with the Patriots. I mean, like when they lost the game to Miami, everybody was screaming about the last play, but I was saying they lost the game long before that. There's 100 reasons why they lost the game, and that was just one. Why wasn't the game over when it came to that point? You know, I mean, I love my teams, but I hold them to a very high standard.
I agree. I'm right there with you. I hold them to a high standard.
If Pittsburgh wins, you know, if Pittsburgh wins, they win. You know, the better team will win because they always do.
I'm with you. So, all right, gentlemen, with that said, that will do it for this segment. When we return, you will hear the recording from last night, Mr. H-Town Blake Henley and Mr. Colin Reynolds, Fat Mac Reynolds, going at it with our third primetime face-off of the evening as we talk Texans, Saints. With that said, y'all, we'll see you on the other side of that interview. You are listening to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, soccer fans. Pierre Moss here with you. I am the host of the Soccer Scoreboard Show right here on IE Sports Radio each and every week. Games and the best action from around the world of soccer. Not only do we have live scores for you, but we also news and all the latest stories from the soccer world right here on the Soccer Scoreboard Show. Come join us each and every week right here on IE Sports Radio.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, there you have it. We had ourselves quite the introduction of primetime face-offs on tonight's episode of 3 and Out. I'll tell you what, big shout out, of course, to the 4 competitors we already had on tonight's show. Awesome stuff. Thursday Night Football is in the books. Sunday Night Football is also in the books. And, well, it's off to game number 1 of the Monday Night Football doubleheader. Of course, you know, we got the Houston Texans taking on the New Orleans Saints, and then in Game 2, which of course you will hear me coming up, my time to shine, in a little bit, taking on my buddy Sean. Of course, a lot of y'all know Sean Carver, diehard Broncos fan. We'll be going head-to-head in a little bit here for the second game of the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. But with that said, let's jump right on into this one, because we got two familiar faces, well, at least in the podcast world, two familiar voices, unless you follow them on social media or anything like that. But going head-to-head tonight, one of them has taken on pretty much everybody he can take on. I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he started, like, talking something, saying that he was, like, the pretty much the undisputed champion of primetime face-offs, because he's taken on everybody, and my gosh, he's done an amazing job. But let's just say the guy he's facing is somebody that I think all of you should know has a quite strong opinion about lots of things, including his teams. So what can I say, y'all? Stroh's in 5. I mean, that should give you a hint already if you're an IE Sports Radio listener. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the third primetime face-off of the evening. Monday Night Football. Houston Texans taking on the New Orleans Saints. And to talk about those two teams, we have here tonight on the pre-recording, of course, as I mentioned in the introduction of tonight's show, and right before this is pre-recorded. This was recorded last night on September 3rd, 2019. So, this is, we're just had to get this going because Blake couldn't make it for the live show, but it's all good. They're awesome enough to get this thing going tonight, and well, let's get it. So, with that said, starting us off, the away team. He is a diehard Houston guy. All in for Houston. I mean, him and I were going at it one time with the Rockets and the Lakers. What can I say, man? He's all Houston all the time. That's just what he does. Except for the Cougars. Just saying. Anyway, so, Aggies, what can I say? He's a college station guy there. But, all Houston. And, as I mentioned earlier, Stroh's in 5. He's quite the Astros fan. Looking forward for them doing something big this year. And what can I say? He is a huge part of IE Sports Radio, as all of our colleagues are. But him and Mr. Brandon Buckingham get down every Thursday night. We'll hear them tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, talking some baseball as we are down to the final month. Oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome as we head to October. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming here to talk about his Houston Texans taking on those Saints, welcoming Mr. H-Town Blake Henley. What's going on, man? Good to have you back.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Glad to be here facing off one of the best smack talkers in IE Sports history, Mr. Colin Renz, and I don't think it could have come on a better stage than Monday Night Football Week 1, his Saints versus my Texans. So I'm very, very pleased to be here and very, very pleased to be standing across the ring with Mr. Colin tonight.
Oh, it's going to be good. And I'm glad. Thank you, man. That was awesome. That was a great introduction for Colin, and thank you for that. Was a great way to jump on in. And yeah, man, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a pretty good one. This game is going to be, I think this game is going to be just as good as this primetime face-off tonight, because we're going to find out. We are going to find out. We talked a little bit right now before the interview, before the start of this segment we're recording, and yeah, we're going to find out who the Texans really are on Monday night. And the Saints, I expect them to be all gas, no break, revenge tour. So if the Texans can shock, well, I won't call it a shock, but the Texans can stop these Saints, the Texans are in business. I'll tell you that right now. I will change up everything, because right now I just feel like, they're somewhere floating around in the middle. I don't know who they are. But they beat the Saints. Okay, we're talking. We are talking. We are talking, and we're talking loud, Houston. So, with that said, to talk about those Saints, can we get a drum roll? Because this man is about as thunderous. I'll hit the thunder sound effect. This guy brings it, Blake just mentioned it, one of the biggest smack talkers here in IE Sports Radio history when it comes to the primetime face-offs, and, well, what can we say? He always brings it. Get ready, y'all, because here we go. It's going to be a good one. Y'all smell that? Oh, I love doing this. Y'all smell that, y'all? Y'all smell that? Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the one, the only Mr. Fat Mac Saints Gumbo himself, Colin Fat Mac Reynolds. What's going on, Colin? Welcome back, brother.
Wow, what it do, baby? Baby, I'm a Saints fan. That's why I holla, who that?
I I'm loving this, man. This is going to be a good one. This is the first primetime face-off of the season. Once again, it was recorded last night, so even though the other two that were just live, they were, the quote-unquote first. Well, the first one was the quote-unquote first one, but this is actually the first one. So I'm hyped up. I'm ready to go. These two guys are hyped up. Let's get this thing into gear, y'all. So first things first. We got 25 minutes here to get to this whole thing, so trust me, it won't take that long. It'll be a good one, but it's gonna be fun. So first things first, I gotta know thoughts on last season. Okay, so both of you, we have the away team, of course, Houston, the home team, the Saints. So Blake will go first, but short and sweet, man. What did you really think, man? I mean, we just kind of talked about them being a paper team or not, but right now the Texans they just had a big departure with Clowney. I'll let you get into that, but like I said, the short and sweet version. Blake, what do you think, man? The Texans last season.
Well, me and Larry and I texted back and forth, and even though I'm a hardcore Houston fan, I'm their biggest critic. Okay, I don't pass any minuscule either way on what the team's doing, whether I'm a fan or not. And let's face it, their schedule last year made this team inflate to a bigger juggernaut in the NFL than what really was on the field. I mean, Deshaun Watson was running for his life half the time. I was literally at the game when Will Fuller went down against the Dolphins. I was with a bunch of buddies from work, and when he went down, I literally said, he's dead. Blown ACL, always having injuries and things like that. Last year, was a big shock to me because I did not see this team winning that many games. I did not see the team being able to skate by. But, what really happened, and the sad part about it was you won the division, but then you went into the playoff and just got decimated by the Colts that made the wild card barely. And I think, the Texans have a lot to prove this year. And a lot of it, though, is riding on the coaching staff, because, Bill O'Brien has not made any fans here in the Houston media with his arrogance and the way he just tries to act almost like a Belichick coach when he hasn't done anything or won anything but division titles. It's getting really old around here, and I don't think fans here in Houston nor in the organization is really going to stand for just his mouth running and not producing on the field this year. So I think the Texans really have to show up. I think they have to stay healthy, and I really think a lot is riding on this for the coaching staff that's in place right now for this team. You know what? My gosh, that's why you're the Texan fan, because I couldn't agree more. And yes, big time stuff there, and big talk there on a coach that's possibly on the hot seat. So with that said, hot seat 2 years ago. You can't win 4 games and get an extension in the NFL.
Blake is with it. So, with that said, Kylam, you've been waiting for this for a very long time. The Saints last season, give it to us.
Well, I could say one word defines the Saints season: growth. A lot of 7-9 seasons. I talk about this a lot. Our defense was suspect in the secondary, and last year our defense, we grew much more. Besides the 9 call with the Rams, besides the Minnesota Miracle year before, this defense has solidified itself on every level. I mean, Cam Jordan is improving with his technique every year on the front. And then our linebackers last year, A.J. Klein played phenomenal. DeMar Davis picked him up from the left side linebacker, and in the back, Von he's grown. He started off with IQ wasn't as high to me. Then Lattimore. So we've had in the past our defense it was full of veterans that maybe trying to keep their glory days going, and now we're doing a farm system type thing. We're growing together, drafting and trading for younger players to gel together. And our defense grew phenomenally last year. And in our offense, Drew Brees wine, he's getting better with time. And Kamara and Ingram on last year, man. best of luck to him in Baltimore with Ingram. But we got Murray from the Vikings. Hopefully that he can keep the pace going. But last year was a year of growth, and then also solidify who's going to be who. That's what you need in football. Who's who, and everybody know what Breeze, Kamara, Thomas, Lattimore, those people. But we have people that, like I tell you all the time, that good gumbo takes a lot of ingredients, and we have that, and we're building on that growth this year. And what's better than a great test of, we can say paper, we can say plastic, bag it. That's all we're going to do. We're going to bag it. So on Monday night, play the Texans, a Texas team that's going to be resilient. A great pickup is going to be sleeper picks for your fantasies. Carlos Hyde is going to be a big pickup for Houston. And also not just with the run game, but his pass protection. So that'd be crucial for Houston this year. And like I told you before, Larry, I like Deshaun Watson, so that's all I'm going to give you, Blake, with that. But Saints going to be we ready this year, and I think we're going to get the job done.
All right. Well,
real quick, Larry, I didn't address the Clowney situation. Can I just say one thing real quick?
Go right ahead, man.
Bye.
I hit the laugh button. I had to. I mean, wow. Like that, Blake?
Bye. People think that we forget that he played alongside J.J. Watt. Get out of here. Didn't do nothing when he was hurt. Get out of here. Bye.
Wow.
That's why we traded you for backup linebackers. Bye.
Wow. Oh, I want to hear. I don't know. I want to hear what everybody's got to say in the chat room right now with that, because woo! Hey, you know what? True Texan fan spoken. So, anyway, let's get into this debate. We don't got a whole bunch of time, but it's going to be a fun one. We're going to go right into the lightning round, guys. Because we have nothing to go off of from last week. We just went to last season. So let's do this thing, get into the back and forth. So first things first, I want to know X Factors. Y'all know my favorite thing to ask. I got to know. You guys going head-to-head on Monday. On Monday night. And I got my timer out. We are ready to rock and roll. And I will ring the bell when we're ready to go. So here we go. There we go. Sorry, we'll ring it when we stop. So you guys will have 1 minute. I found like the sweet spot. 1 minute. I want to hear your X Factors and why you feel those X Factors will be, that dude. I want you to know, or those guys, or whichever they are. So you are the away team, Blake. You will start us off. You clearly won't have the crowd as the X Factor, but let us know, man. Give us your Houston Texans X Factors for Monday night. Begin.
Well, I'm already starting behind the 8 ball because, the media's already put out that the Saints pretty much won this game, which I really don't see. My X Factors is Whitney Merciless, Breonna McKinney, and Zachary Cunningham, because, you know what? The defense has to get pressure on Breeze. But what Breeze is great at is creating those cross routes, So the linebacking core, Merciless is going to have to get pressure on these guys, but it's going to be McKinney and Cunningham's job to pick up the cross routes and picking up the guys that are either coming out of the backfield late or picking up a tight end that's going to push off a block and see if Cooks can get over the middle. So I think this whole linebacking core, forget about the cornerbacks, the linebacking core, I think is going to be the biggest X factor when the defense is on the field and taking away the cross routes that the Saints are famous for.
Look at that, with 6 seconds to spare, the linebacking core. Okay, so I gotta know real quick, Kylam, you got 30 seconds. Counter it, man. Linebackers versus linebackers versus that Saints offense, man. Give us 30 seconds. What do you think about that matchup?
Ridiculous. How can a linebacker stay with Alvin Kamara? How can a linebacker stop the hands of Michael Thomas coming across the field? How can a linebacker stop Tre'Quan Smith going down the seam? I mean, that's not too much speed.
Well, you see, that's where you mixed up, because a real football guy knows that linebackers aren't going to be on speedsters, Kyle. So I don't know where you're going to
pick them up. You got to pick them up the line.
So you really think that our Mike linebacker is going to be on Michael Thomas next? Come on, I thought you were a veteran on this.
Okay, wait.
Play calling. I'm out the backfield.
It's gonna be awesome coming up. I'm so excited for this.
Next question.
I'm loving this because you guys are about to get this now. It's gonna be all kinds of fun. Okay, so Column, give us 1 minute on the clock. Your X Factor for the Saints, or X Factors for the Saints.
All right, you know how I do it, Larry. I give you one on offense, I give you one on defense. So, which one you want first, Blake? You want offense or defense?
You give me offense because y'all don't have no defense.
Oh, good question. The X Factor for this Monday night will be Traquan Smith, the one that caught the ball that Drew Brees broke the record on last year against the Washington Redskins, against my boy Mike Pat. But this year, Monday Night Football, start the season off, Traquan Smith will be the X Factor. Like you said, speedster, too much gas. Too much gas in the tank. And like I say all the time, if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But no alcohol can make the car go. That's going to be on offense. Then on defense, I could give you Cam, but Cam like the best lineman we have. So just looking at it, I'm going to go with Demario Davis. Demario Davis may have 15 tackles, Larry. You know what I'm saying? 15 tackles. Demario Davis is going to set the tone for not just this game, but for the season. Point blank.
I like. Okay, 30 seconds on the clock. Blake, rebuttal.
Well, I mean, we're going linebacker here. But, Traquan Smith's going to get open because we all know Ted Green Jr. is going to be on the IV or over there on the oxygen mask. I don't even know why he's listed as the number 2 on y'all's guy. He's going to get open. No doubt about that. I'm not going to try to lie to you and say that our cornerbacks are going to be able to keep up a speedster on that. But, that guy's going to get the passes because, let's face it, defense is going to try to double team and shut down Thomas as much as possible.
Okay. So now here we start having some real fun. I like that. A little chippy. Well, guess what's going to get real funny now? Because we're going to go ahead and get into a little segment that I guess personally made. It's like putting 2 ants together or rubbing 2 puppies' heads together. They're just going to go at it. So this is fun. Yeah, this is messed up. And I just know that only because when I was a kid, I used to do that. And they used to get all crazy. And then my dad used to be all like, hey, man, you knock that off. But yeah, that was dogs are crazy, man. Like, seriously, like, they get mad about everything. So, I'm just saying. But this is just craziness right here, guys. I love this, and I'm so happy we can do the segment again like this year. But this is, I forgot what we called this segment last year, but this is just asking for a fight. So, Blake, you got 1 minute on the clock. Explain a weakness on the Saints that you personally feel that you guys can take advantage of, and actually that could probably lead to you guys beating them if you guys do this, whichever it is. So pick the weakness of the weakness that you feel is on the Saints. Give me 1 minute, and Colin, you will have a 30-second rebuttal. Blake, begin.
Well, I think the biggest weakness is that we're looking back at the Saints offense from last year. I don't think the Saints offense going into this year is any better. I think Kamara is juggernaut, okay? Top 2. You could argue him being one of the best running backs in the league, but he doesn't have that workhorse behind him. And I think going out and getting a poor man's Ingram and Murray isn't going to really help. Thomas, let's face it, he's not even going to be the best receiver on the field on Monday night with Hopkins on the other side of him. I really feel like, too, that, hey, you got a 40-year-old quarterback. I think Drew Brees has the same game plan this year as Joe Biden and some crazy guy, Bernie Sanders, and it's don't die this year. I think what we're going to do is we're going to blitz the crap out of him, double-team Thomas, and you know what? I don't think Kamara's a 3-down back, so you just beat the dog crap out of him on the offense side.
With 9 seconds to spare. Colin, you got 30 seconds. Rebuttal.
Offense wasn't really that great. 31 points a game is not great.
We got 31 points a game, and your defense is garbage.
Wow, garbage. We was leading the league.
What league? Well, the league's not the NFC.
Hey, we was leading the league at one point. Besides the Bears.
Oh yeah. At one point in the second half of the first game, we were leading the league in defense. Nice
oh my God, Blake, come on now, you can do better than that.
Show me the stats then. Where's the stats? He said, this one time we were leading the league back in 2008 when we were bounty hunting people. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he went there.
Hold on, Larry. I gotta pull it. Larry, he pulled this card. He pulled the card. How many Super Bowls do Houston have?
We haven't been around for 50 years. Colin,
exactly. Next. Get there. We're 100%. 1 for 1. Get there. It doesn't matter. We got it. Next question, Larry.
Oh my gosh, this is good. Okay.
Get the jury with a Hardwell. Hardwell speaks for it all.
Can we bring on a real town that has 3 real sports teams? You know, Pelicans. Like, what the hell?
Now we talking about economy. Now we not talking about economies. Come on, we talking about football here. We're talking about football here.
Because they don't even have a baseball team. I mean, come on.
That's like, Mama, you pushed me down. Let me say something about you. Oh my God.
You know that roof's burning in the background, dude. You better go start. That's disgusting.
You say you want 3? You got number 3 in your drawers. You got urine and defecation in your drawers. You got number 1 and 2.
Oh, you guys, man. Okay, so here we go. Let's flip it around now. Column.
The Rockets championships. That's garbage. Get that out of here.
now we talking about basketball. We talking about football.
You keep a guy that's got a unibrow in your town. I mean, come on.
Trenches. We're in the trenches. We're in the trenches, Blake. Come on, let's keep it football.
I love this. Okay, so Column, you got 1 minute. Talk about a weakness on the Houston Texans and how you guys can use that to your advantage for a victory.
Okay. I'm looking at this roster and I'm trying to exploit this thing here. So I can easily attack Duke Johnson that's trying to make himself seem like he's so relevant, and you will not Carlos Hyde, which is a strong veteran. That's not really a strong run game now, but I'm going to leave it like that. It's more of a receiving card, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go to the weak cornerbacks. He said himself about their not much speed, but they don't have no IQ. So you talking about triple teaming Michael Thomas, okay, then Ted Ginn's going to burn you. And then you try to stop Ted Ginn, then Traquan Smith's going to burn you. Then you try to get Tremel by the backfield. He's going to burn you. And then Jared Cook with the post route is going to burn you. So y'all going to be burnt all night, just like that route you were talking about.
How are you going to burn somebody when you got J.J. Watt staring down a 5'8" quarterback?
Man, J.J. Watt not going to do nothing. But you know who Ram Tech is? It ain't going to happen, son. It ain't going to happen.
Get it, Blake. 30 seconds.
The best lines in the league.
Just like your best defense? Yeah, about that. You can say you're the best.
Hey, where's the hardware, partner?
No.
Where's the hardware, partner?
You're bringing up hardware from 10 years ago, bro. You sound like a Yankees fan.
You don't have anything. You don't have anything.
One championship. Next
you have 0, though. You have goose egg. Get off the nest. Get off the nest, Blake. Something might be there.
Atlanta Falcon fan. That's what you were when you were a little kid, Colin, and you know it.
Get off your nest. You might have an egg if you stop sitting down.
I love it. All right, so
our best defense is just trying to overtalk somebody and say, "Oh, we had the best. Hey, we had the best this one time with 30 seconds in the first quarter." Yeah,
okay. Okay, hold on, Larry. I know this is not scripted, Larry, but let's do this. Let's do this, Blake. In the last, you talking about 10 years, erase the Super Bowl. In the last 10 years, what team has been more relevant? The Saints or the Houston? What y'all name in Texas?
Let me tell you something. You're trying to make an argument about Monday night.
I'm not. It's proven facts.
So hey,
it's proven.
I take back that you were a Falcons fan, and you know what you were growing up? You were a Cowboys.
Hey, Larry, when we get this recording, please put the poll up. What team has been more relevant in the last 10 years? Forget about hardware. What team has been more relevant? What team is more relevant?
It ain't about right now. It ain't about right now.
More relevant. We're gonna see Monday, Blake. I want my coffee. We're gonna see Monday. I want my coffee. Can't have me.
Hey, I'll send it to you, brother.
I want my coffee.
Colin, you know I got love for you. This is fun, though.
This is going to be awesome, guys. So last but not least, let's get into the game plan. And then I also want you guys to go ahead and fight that. I am excited for that. So 1 minute.
5 minutes, fellas. 5 minutes.
Here we go. We're coming up, guys. If we go a little bit over, it's all good. It happens. I know that you guys, it's all right. I'll make the time. It's okay. This is going to be funny. So a game plan, guys. A game plan. Okay. So 1 minute on the clock per, and we're going to have a 30-second just for giggles, man. A rebuttal period. We have to add it in here, and it's going to be funny. So let's go ahead and start with the away team. Blake, give us your game plan of what your Texans need to do to defeat and shock those Saints on Monday night. You have 1 minute. Begin.
I think it's going to be, you want to talk about revenge tour all you want, but I think Hopkins take over the game, and he's going to show that Thomas's money should have been spent elsewhere. You know, they need to look for another running back to come in and be a 3-down back to help Kamara and be a running back by committee, and I think they really need to look elsewhere with that money spent. Other than the running back by committees on our end, I really am excited to see what this is going to be because, I mean, let's face it, I'll leave bait out there for him. You know, we're going to see really hit or miss what Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde are going to be able to do. So I'm more excited to see what that's going to be, and I want to see what we're going to be able to do to use our tight ends this year.
Okay. Well, there you have it. We were right there. I mean, we're 40, but that was like 40 seconds. Okay, well, there you go. 30 seconds. Column, counter it. Counter his game plan. Why won't that work?
Well, Hopkins, like you said, is one of the best top three wide receivers in the league. And I mean, HOUvsNO 1, 2, 3, he's great. So he's gonna have a good game. But that's not gonna happen with the run game. I just told him that like 30 seconds ago. So he only repeated what I said that is iffy. So I'm like, what do you say?
What you said.
Hopkins gonna win the game for you? No, not by yourself. Not single-handedly. Not negative.
I just gotta say that, man. So, okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and run that back now. I guess the other way. Colin, you have 1 minute game plan. What is it going to take? What game plan do you guys got to do on Monday to defeat this Texans team and start that revenge tour off with a victory? You have 1 minute. Begin.
Well, Larry, we're versatile, and speed is going to kill the Houston Texans, whatever. We're going to kill them. Speed is going to kill because the fact of the matter is, it's going to be powerful punches all over. Yeah, shut down Michael Thomas. Yeah, you shut down Ted Ginn. But then you have Jared Cook. You have Kamara. I mean, and Murray's not no pushover. Yeah, you say it's a poor man's Ingram, but who's going to take him out the backfield? See, the thing about it is, everybody's worried about that 3 to 4 yards of carry. That don't exist as much anymore in the league. So you pound it 1 or 2 yards, and then you get another back to scan out the backfield, and then those linebackers that you're talking about is going to play down, and then Drew Brees is going to throw it over the top. Those 15-yard routes, those 20-yard routes, he's going to kill you all night. So we're just going to open up the Superdome, open up the season for a prime time, and we're going to show you a little something about this New Orleans gumbo, baby.
Right at a minute, at the buzzer. All right, Blake, go ahead, man. Defend your team. Rebuttal.
Well, I mean, the game plan was kind of all over the place. You got to run the ball 2 to 3 yards, which you and I isn't going to happen. Drew Brees has to get in a rhythm. You're not going to throw the ball downfield all the time. We all know that. And I don't know why we keep on saying that Ted Ginn Jr. is a burner. Can we like?
Oh, hey, see what I'm saying? That's the thing. We gotta be honest with ourselves. He's still not a pushover. He's still not a pushover.
Either we're gonna bomb the ball down the field, or we're gonna try to get 3 yards with Murray because he just admitted that you can't get 3 yards with Kamara.
No, I did not say. I said you don't get every down. I say every down.
Hey, you're putting words into my mouth. I can put words into your mouth.
Oh, Mama, you hit me, Mama.
You hit me with Kamara. I'm telling you that right now.
Okay.
This is great. All right, Joe. So with that said, I just got to say, man, that was awesome. I mean, straight up, man. What a jolly job. Give an applause, man, for both Mr. Colin Reynolds and Mr. H-Town Blake Henley, man. The Fat Mac and H-Town Blake went at it. That was awesome. Last words, gentlemen, before we're out of here for the night. This one can run a little over. Like I said, I can edit it in and it will be okay. But last words, if you guys want to go ahead and choose that final score, let us know. Blake, quick and dirty, man. What you think about Monday night and that final score? Who you got? And well, I would expect for you to pick your team, but I mean, hey, however y'all want to roll with it. But let me know, man, what your final score on Monday night, if you'd like to pick one.
I say that the Texans win 35-31 on a missed PI for the New Orleans Saints.
You're cold. You are
cold-blooded.
Cold. Column?
His man said 35-31 Saints. Texans. Well, I don't really like doing score predictions, Larry, because that's just so far-fetched. But I'm going to say 34-23 Saints.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, there you have it. We don't have the poll up today because we don't even have to think until tomorrow morning. So that'll be up on, for the show tomorrow, which is today if you're listening to the show. So we'll go ahead and see who won that thing. Overall, this is the first primetime face-off. I want to know, and we're going to do this. Every single primetime face-off. Okay, this is how we're going to do things. We already did it in the first two. Of course, as I mentioned, this was the first one because it was last night. But this is how we're going to start doing things. I want the listeners to pick, regardless of who won on the polls, I want the listeners to pick who the winner of the debate actually was. It doesn't have to be the winning team, because sometimes...
Yes, let's do that.
I want that. We're going to start keeping record. Because it's been 2 years we've been doing this now, and we haven't been keeping record. I want to keep a record, and I want all of the listeners to vote on who they think. I mean, because, hey, the Saints could blow out the Texans. Some people could say, no, I think Blake won that thing. Or, what if the Texans somehow, not somehow, but the Saints pulled this thing out? Go ahead.
Not to butter Collins, but, let's face it. We were talking about it before the show. I think Colin whooped Tina in the LSU-Bama game, and then would show up,
Oh, Blake's going to put it on the record. She's going to get you.
Knows her stuff, but, dude, Kyle mopped the floor with her, man.
Ooh, yeah, well, hey, that was a great primetime face-off. So, like I said, guys.
We had a great time. Tina drilled me for like a week and a half after that loss, man.
Yeah, she did. I'm sure she did.
My Twitter page, my inbox was like on fire after that. I'm like, Tina, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
And she just pop up like the next morning. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm like, Tina, come on.
That's cold-blooded,
man. You know what's funny is if you guys just heard that, you would think me and Colin hate each other, but I have nothing but love for this man.
Oh, yeah, number love for you,
Larry, man.
Number love, man.
Passionate.
We just passionate about our teams, man.
That's it.
I love that man.
Well, Blake, I'm gonna stir a little more stuff, a little more crap in your coffee. Hey, my Cubbies up 6-0 right now against the Mariners, baby.
Hey, you know what? I'm not worried about my division like you are.
Hey, that's all right. You know the story about the tortoise and the hare, right?
Yeah, I've never really got why children's nursery rhymes and sports go together, because it really doesn't happen.
Hey, slow and steady wins the race. That's all I'm saying.
But fast and juggernaut also blows them out of the water.
Well,
hey,
Blake just let me know.
What you believe.
Blake just let me know right now in a text a little bit ago that my boy, man, Mike Trout, I'm not watching the game right now because I want to make sure to record this, but Mike Trout just hit his 44th home run of the year. I'm just saying, my boy, man, I'm so proud of this guy. So, like Blake said in the text, this guy is unreal, and that's absolutely it. So, hey, y'all, though we're out of the freaking playoffs again, at least we got a great player, so I'm happy. So, anyway, with that said, y'all.
Spring got hurt too, Blake, I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, dude, did you see him hit his head? Like, dude, that was scary, man. If y'all haven't seen it, look on ESPN. Y'all aren't going to hear it. Y'all see it tomorrow. But, dude, he knocked himself out pretty bad.
Well, it's okay, man. But with that said, y'all, that's going to do it real quick and dirty. We got to bounce up out of here, y'all. With that said, quick and dirty. Wait, team. Texans. Blake, let us know, man. Give us, of course, let us know where they can find you on Twitter and all the goods, man. Where can they find you at?
You can find me at HTown_Blake. And even though me and Colin are going to be going head-to-head on Monday, me and him are going to be chilling and rooting for them LSU Tigers against them stupid Longhorns on Saturday night. So much love, brother.
I'm loving it. Colin, where can they find you?
Hey, man, you can find me at FATMAC_K. That's FatMac_K. Faith and trials make a Christian. Helping hands and loving hearts make the world a better place. Go Tigers!
That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, well, with that said, y'all, yeah, God is great, man. I always love hearing that, man. Great stuff there, always at the end. I'm telling you, every time I hear that, man, faith and trials make Christians. I love it, man. Helping hands, loving hands, loving hearts make the world a better place. I love hearing that, man. Of course, my boy Blake over there doing his thing. Every single time I have these two, I'm so glad they were able to play. So, with that said, we're about to go draft for the IE Sports Radio Bowl right now. We'll let you know our results coming up on the show. Let's have some fun. With that said, y'all, that is that. When we get back, you're about to hear my boy, Mr. Sean Carver, and myself go head-to-head for that second game of the Monday Night Doubleheader as his Denver Broncos, the Orange Crush, take on the Autumn Wind, my Oakland Raiders. Raider Nation, baby. With that said, when we'll get back, it's going to be some fun stuff. So keep the show going. And once again, thanks to Mr. Colin and Mr. Blake. Great job, y'all. We'll catch you on the next segment. You're listening to 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with a list of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the colleges, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's me, your boy Larry B, bringing it to you here once again with my boys. They're back, Mr. Mike Pett and Mr. Colin Reynolds. Final primetime face-off of the evening is going to be combined with the guy who is running our IE Sports Radio Picks League. You have 1 day to join the Picks League, because this time tomorrow, well, we're going to be throwing hands, guys. Well, at least the Packers and the Bears are. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. So with that said, make sure to join our Picks League. Show us some love, y'all. We have fun doing it. You'll definitely enjoy it. We have a playoff system attached to it. It's really, really fun stuff. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and cut to the final primetime face-off of the evening as well. Guess what? It's me taking on my boy, man. So welcoming him real fast. Maybe we've heard him on the show many times before, but with that said, this man needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Mr. Orange Crush himself, hard Broncos fan, and the dude who just seems to always freaking win the fantasy league for some crazy reason. I don't know how the hell he does it, but he's been winning our fantasy league, the Dynasty Bowl, for years now, and I seriously don't get it, but he does it. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, welcome in the one, the only, Mr. Sean Carver. How's it going, Sean? How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Just happy to be part of the show, man, and let's talk some football.
I'm so for it. So with that said, Mike, Colin, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Well, kind of like I said in the last face-off, we want a good, clean fight. No shots below the belt, but let's be real. Throw all the shots you want. Just keep it PG-13 for the kids, y'all. Keep it PG-13 for the kids. Alrighty, y'all. So you guys know the drill. Larry B, obviously you've been doing face-off. Sean, shake hands proverbially, obviously. Let's get it on. So, Mr. Kylam, let us lead off with your question. You go ahead, sir. One question for each of these fine gentlemen.
All righty. Now, Larry, play nice because you do some bad things sometimes when it comes to your team. But we're going to go with the away team first here. The Broncos, Mr. Sean. My question for you is, with Joe Flacco at the helm, John Elway he's ecstatic, he's excited, he's all over the news, and he's glad about the fact that he has a quarterback that has winning culture and experience. Do you feel that Joe Flacco is what you guys need going forward?
At this point, this is the third year in a row that we've heard stuff like this, so I'm not sold on it yet. I need to see some film. I need to see some performance. Yes, he's played some big games, but ever since he won his Super Bowl in Baltimore, and signed a contract out there, he hasn't put up the same kind of numbers. So if he can, repeat that, then sure. But he hasn't done it since then. So I'm not exactly big and sold on it. I've heard it before, so I'd like to see it before I say yes.
Okay. But I mean, with that being said, I think that my personal opinion. I put my personal opinion in the right way. I think that Flacco will just keep him they're gonna weather the storm. I don't think he's gonna get them over the hump, but there will be improvement. All right, now Larry B, my boy.
What's good?
Man, these Raiders, and you've been badging them for the last few years, man. I've been knowing you. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm gonna see if you're gonna give the answer I want you to give, and not the answer that you want to give. We just talked about Antonio Brown, Derek Carr in the offense, but you're a defensive guy, and you play the edge. You like sacking a quarterback. Is this Raiders team this year? Is the defense, has it improved enough for you to be confident enough to go against some of the top defenses in the league?
You know what? You said this defense to go against some of the best offenses, or the offense to go against the most.
Offenses. Offenses. Is it improved enough? Is it improved enough for them to be able not just to turn the corner, but to actually contend? Because your defensive mind is not having having a few sacks or a few pass rushes. Is an overall thing with you. You really love defense. So I'm trying to say, by your standards of defense, do you feel that your Raiders have turned the corner enough to actually contend with some of the top offenses?
You know what? That is a great question. Personally, I feel like right now this team we actually do have a pretty stout defense right now. But let me just put it to you like this. Last night I had, the three defenses that I wanted to pick for the iSports Radio Bowl were the Bears, the Chargers, and the Rams. I had to go down pretty far to go find the Browns because I wanted to pick logically of who I thought would be pretty good. The Raiders were available, and they still are, and I haven't picked them. So I'll tell you what. I think they're good. They're much better than they were. The pickup of Farrell, not going to test Mayock the way Philip Robinson III said. Mayock is a mastermind, of course. I'm not going to test him, but I do feel like right now, losing Khalil Mack was just terrible. I know that it is what it is. That's water under the bridge. But right now, a good edge rush will win. I am all over the Redskins right now because I am so excited to watch Montez Sweat and Kerrigan go balls out and go hit some quarterbacks because I really think they're going to do well. With that said, for the Raiders, Vontaze Burfict. Okay. You're legit, dude. Show us something. Do it. Adams, you on Hard Knocks, you talked it big. You talked it real big. Now do it big. You're going to get the start, I think. Do it. Corners. You guys are terrible. You guys suck something awful. If I was an opposing offense, I just throw it deep every time and we'll probably end up scoring 50% of the game. Do something. Linebackers, besides Vontaze Burfict, who do we have? And we don't even know if he's going to be all that great. D-line, you know what? I'll take our D-line. Hurst is getting down right now. I love PJ Hall. I like the edge rush right now. Cleveland Farrell. You know what? I like what we got now. Arden Key is pretty legit. So to answer your question, I know it's kind of a long little dance there. My bad, but overall, Column, I really do feel that we can be much better than we were. But straight up, Column, I'm going to be very nervous when we play teams that are of the higher caliber because I honestly can't tell you that I am confident in their ability to stop 50% of the NFL. I'll say 50%.
Okay.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Great answers. Good questions there, Callum. All right, so let's move on really quick. Not a ton of time here, so let's just kind of jump into the rapid fire, so to speak. So I'll give each of you gentlemen 3 minutes. We'll go over X factors, game plan, and thoughts on the game. Do not give your predictions yet. We will wait for those until the very end. So let's start with you, Sean. Give us your X Factor, game plan, and thoughts overall on this game. 3 minutes.
My X Factor, I mean, Broncos' strong point is their defense. So my X Factor are the edge rushers. I mean, you've got Bradley Chubb, you've got Von Miller, you've got Vic Fangio, who's now the head coach, who's a great defensive mind. I'm looking for them to try to get after Derek Carr, put pressure on the offense on the Oakland side, and get the ball back for our offense, take some pressure off of Joe Flacco in his first game as a Broncos quarterback, and, kind of set the tone of the game.
All right, very good. Now, what do you think should be the Broncos' overall game plan for planning for these Raiders? You know, all these new weapons they got, all these flashy, fancy new defenders that Larry's not really giving enough credit to. What do you think the Broncos' game plan should be for this one?
At this point, I mean, you always want to get your running game involved. I mean, they've got 3 guys they can get the ball to. I mean, they've got Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, and then they've even got Devontae Booker. You know, get some of those guys in space. You know, try to make the defense kind of stack the box or whatever, and utilize Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton. I mean, and you got your flashy new tight end and Noah Fant. If he can get out, he's a mismatch on the linebackers. I mean, so utilize the running game to, take advantage of the passing game. I think you always got to do that. You can't just go out and gunsling all the time. You got to run the ball. We got plenty of options. We just need to use them and see if our offense can click. You just got to get first downs and keep the ball rolling.
Alrighty, very good. Now, B, we're going to throw it on over to you, sir. Give us your X Factor and game plan. How are you going to stop these Broncos with their I can't really say shiny new quarterback because he's been in the league for quite a while, but, their new quarterback, some new pieces on offense, and the defense which can get after the passer.
You know what? I love it because I would love to say 2 X Factors and 2 guys, two things that I want to put up or shut up with the Raiders. I'm dead serious. Number 1, Antonio Brown. Homeboy, do something. Do it. I know you want to talk about the helmet. That's wonderful. Do something. That's great. I know that, the injuries and all that crap and the media's getting on you or whatever. Well, shut everybody up and do it. Now, will he? More than likely. But I want him. This is going to be it. All eyes are going to be on Antonio Brown. Don't forget, he's enemy of the state in Pittsburgh right now, or at least on one side of Pittsburgh. And when it comes to the other person who I think is going to be an X Factor, defense. Literally the whole defense. X Factor. Because that's how terrible this defense is. The whole defense is going to be an X Factor because it's going to depend on how well they play that we do anything. Okay, LaMarcus Joyner, thank you so much for coming and making our defense better. You're one dude. You are one dude. Tahir Whitehead, yeah, you're pretty good. I don't know, though. I'm just suspect of the entire linebacking core. So, Carl Joseph, you were a hitter, so keep on hitting. I mean, seriously, I'm just really, really, really irritated with how our defense is just not that good. And we should be much better. So I seriously feel like our entire defense is a unit and needs to step up and be the X Factor. And also, Antonio Brown, he's that guy. Okay, I honestly don't think, sorry, Sean, but I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to. Chris Harris is good. That's great. Kareem Jackson's a hell of a hitter. Justin Simmons is good. Callahan, pretty good corner. But I honestly don't think that there's anybody in that secondary that can match up with this guy. So if he has a big game, I do believe we win. But the biggest thing is going to be, and honestly, I'm going to say one more X Factor, Colton Miller, because last year he was hurt and it showed, and I got on him a lot. I didn't mean to get all crazy on him. He's a great player, but he's gonna be facing Von Miller or Wolf. Okay, those guys are very talented players, and honestly, Derek Carr, we already know he's a little scared right now of getting hit. Well, Trent Brown, hey, you came over here from New England, show us that you're from New England. Colton Miller, put your big boy pants on, brother, because we're going to need you. So those are going to be, I have 3 X Factors, like no joke. I think Oh, no, actually, you know what? I'm going to go with those three. Offensive line, the entire defense, and Antonio Brown, because those three have to step up in order for us to win. Does that sound like the whole team? Pretty much. So I seriously feel like those are the key points. As for game plan, I'll make this short and sweet because I know I spent too much time on that. As for the game plan, it's going to have to literally be stop this little monster, Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay is just like me, a small little dude who no one believed in him to make it, and he is going to fight and give everything he's got. Why? Because I'm also one of those little small guys who's going to fight and give you everything I've got. So I'll tell you what, stopping him is not going to be easy, and he is going to try and run over this defense, and seriously, as wish-washy as this defense is, he just might. Don't sleep on Flacco, idiots! He's a vet. He's gotten there before. So, hello, ding-dongs who are there playing in the front seven. Oh, look at that. It's just Joe Flacco. We don't got to worry about him. Yeah, don't get pressure on him, idiots. See what happens. See what happens. These corners, they're not going to help you. I mean, I want to see them. Secondary, do something. But don't sleep on Joe Flacco, number one. Well, stop Philip Lindsay, number one. Number two, don't sleep on Joe Flacco. And other side of the ball, please get Brown the ball. Please get Brown the ball. This secondary isn't that good. Sorry, Sean, but I seriously feel like he can have a big game. Overall, Josh Jacobs, you can do this. You can have a big game. Make it happen. But that's up to the five big boys up front, who I'm also pointing fingers at. I mean, I'm sorry to say point fingers, but I'm also saying them as suspect. So I want to see Josh Jacobs have a big game, but I feel like so once again, those are my. I'm going to say three. Those are three things. Okay. One would be stop Philip Lindsay. Number two, don't sleep on Flacco. Number three would be get Antonio Brown the ball. And actually, that's four. So then, in the number four, O-line, please block well, because the 34 is a guessing game defense. There's always going to be four guys coming. You just don't know where the fourth pressure is going to come. Or there's most likely going to be four pressures coming. You don't know where that fourth linebacker is going to come, where that fourth pressure is going to come. So offensive line must stay on their P's and Q's. And if they do, that will open up the run game. Well, it could open up either or, the run game for the pass game or the pass game for the run game. So that's pretty much it. I know it seems like a lot, but that's how much I'm all over the Raiders. Because guess what? We need all those things to be successful.
Alrighty, guys, that was some great information, good opinions, some good talking points on both sides. Now we got about 4 or 5 minutes left in the segment, so let's enter in the final phase. Here I'm going to give it over to both of you guys. Sean, you'll go first. Any final thoughts, feelings, any opinions about the Raiders you want to throw out there? Maybe some little smack talk if you want to throw that in here. And then end with your final prediction. You know, who you think is going to win the game. If you want to give a score, great. If not, that's okay. We understand fans are a little bit superstitious. So any final thoughts and the last chance for trash talking, and of course your final prediction for this game.
Well, Larry's right in regards to Antonio Brown. Is a tough guy to cover, but, you know, it's all about whether or not Derek Carr can have confidence to get him the ball. He had difficulty getting anybody other than Jared Cook last year the ball, and he's gone now. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, he's a tough guy to cover, but at the same time, you know, our secondary used to be one of the best, but those guys are all gone except for Chris Harris. I still think that the defense goes out there and smacks the Raiders in the mouth and, you know, just gives them hell. But Antonio Brown's that game changer. So I'm looking for the Broncos to go out there and put up a W in Oakland, you know, the last time that they play in Oakland before they decide to become Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking at Denver coming out with the W.
Alrighty, did you want to give a final score, or are you one of those superstitious fans?
I'm not superstitious, but I'm generally it's sometimes a little difficult to grab a final score, but I'll say probably 24-21 Denver. I'm always going to go with my team every week. You know, I guess it's kind of bred in me in the picks league. I have to choose them no matter what, you know. So I'm always going to favor my team, even though if I feel the matchup isn't favorable. But I think in this case, we have a good chance to win.
All right, awesome. Love the confidence. All right, Mr. B. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. All right, man. Give us your last final thoughts. Any smack talk you want to throw out on Denver? And no, you are not allowed to smack talk the Raiders. I'm going to throw that rule out now. You are not allowed to smack talk your own team in the primetime showdown. Any last smack talk you want to throw about Denver? Any opinions you want to throw about them? And of course, your final response. Score or final prediction. Provide a score if you would like. If not, that is okay as well. But go ahead and remember, do not bash the Raiders.
You got it, brother. Okay, so I know we got like 2 minutes left here before we get into the weigh-in, so it's all good. I got to tell you right now, I'm very confident of this Raider team this year. I'm going to give them a hard time. I still think we're going to be like 7-9, 8-8. Prove me wrong. That's all I got to say. Denver, you know what? There's just not a lot to be excited for with this team. I mean, Sean's he's a loyal fan. He loves his team, but the Broncos are usually a winning program. As I said before we came on here, before we jumped on from the last break, I mean, Denver, I don't think they'll be very successful this year. They're having a typical Oakland Raider type of year. They're going to be good pretty soon. Again, I know they will. But right now, I just feel like this is going to be a better year for the Raiders, and I honestly think they're going to sweep Denver this year. They're not where they should be. They're not. They're in a down phase, and it is what it is. They probably can get back and sweep us next year. But they're a very good, potent team with an extremely talented edge rusher. Von Miller is going to get his sacks. I honestly feel like Von Miller's going to probably get 1 or 2 in this game because that offensive line is suspect. So just keep him away from Derek Carr and freaking get Antonio Brown the ball. Defense, oh boy. No smack talk on the Raiders. Defense, please do something. That's all I got to say. So, with that said, personally, like I said, I think we're going to win both games. I really do. Here and in Denver, in Oakland and in Denver, and they're going to be great games. But I'm going to go with the Raiders winning this one 31-24. They're going to get their licks. They're going to put up the score on us. They're probably going to lead at some point in this game. But I really do have enough confidence in the Raiders to actually pull this thing off and to be that strong, tough team that I know they really are and that we've very long awaited in the Raider Nation. So those are my closing thoughts, and I really feel the Raiders can come out of this thing on Monday night with a W.
Alrighty, very good. Great showdown, gentlemen. And Larry B., I'm passing it back to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was awesome. Sean, I love you, brother. Shaking hands over the internet. I'm literally shaking hands with you. Thank you, man. So, with that said, we only had a few votes for both of these primetime face-offs, so the Saints, out of the 7 people who voted, because I didn't put the tweet out like super crazy how I usually do, so out of 7 people, 86% had picked the Saints, and out of 10 people, the Raiders, 60% of over 40 picked the Raiders, so those aren't even really because there was 2, I didn't want to bug everybody today. But those are but it is what it is. We'll have fun with that. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the final pick. So Sean, quick and dirty, seriously, maybe 5 seconds per game. Let's get through this thing with the NFL so we can catch up with us. Week number 1, Titans-Browns.
Titans-Browns.
Dang, not even an explanation. Okay. Ravens, Dolphins.
Do you want me to explain? I think Marcus Mariota is suspect. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything against that defense. It got too good. Even if Mayfield isn't very good to start the year, I still think the Titans are just really suspect.
Okay. Ravens, Dolphins, go.
Ravens, Dolphins is a dumpster fire ever since they traded everything away.
Perfect. Falcons, Vikings.
Vikings, that defense is still really good. Falcons, hit or miss, depending on, the performance of their wideouts and Matt Ryan. I think the Vikings win it.
Bills, Jets.
I think I picked the Bills against the Jets. I'm still not sure how Le'Veon Bell is going to perform. Josh Allen, I've heard, has been performing a lot better, and they've got actually weapons this year that they can utilize. So I think I'm going to go Bills.
Okay. Redskins, Eagles.
Eagles. Case Keenum, I don't think he's the answer right now, and Redskins don't really have anybody to throw to.
Rams, Panthers.
Rams, we'll see if Cam Newton comes out and plays, but I think the Rams go out, they get a W, start the year against the Panthers, and Jared Goff shows why he just got that contract.
Chiefs, Jaguars.
Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is going to recede a little bit this year because 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns is hard to do again, but I still think he goes out there and puts up points and gets a W.
Bengals. Okay, well, sorry. Last one, Colts, Chargers.
Chargers. I would have probably picked the Colts if Andrew Luck hadn't retired, but now that he did, that changes the dynamic of the Colts.
Okay, here we go, guys. On the clock, we have 10 seconds per. Let's do this thing. Bengals, Seahawks. Mike, you are on the clock. Go.
Seahawks, Bengals don't have a lot of issues on the offensive line, and Russell Wilson's too good.
Boom. I mean, that was short and sweet. Kylan. Oh, you muted, Kylan? He is. He was muted. It's okay. It happens. Sean?
Seahawks. Yeah, they don't. Cincinnati doesn't have AJ Green. They got too many injuries. And Russell Wilson. Yeah, even though they lost Doug Baldwin, I think they go out and they get a W at home.
I think so too. I think they're going to be they're just too much for the Bengals. The Bengals suck. I'm sorry, the Bengals just aren't there right now. So yeah, it's just not going to go their way. Seahawks, Pete Carroll it's lost. They're going to get a victory there. Giants at Cowboys. Mike.
I'm going to go Dallas. Even without Zeke, I don't think the Giants have enough talent to overcome Dallas in Dallas.
That makes total sense. Sean?
I agree. Dallas gets the W. I mean, it's Eli Manning. They're also not going to have Golden Tate. Odell Beckham's gone. Yeah, and Dallas is at home. They got Zeke.
I think so, too. Dallas is going to run all over the Giants. That's all there is to it. Lions at Cardinals. Mike?
I'm going to go Lions here. I think things are going to be a little uneven for Arizona with a rookie quarterback starting out. Lions are a little bit more even-keeled.
Sean?
I honestly think Arizona might surprise some of us. I think they've been holding back all preseason, trying things out, and Kyler Murray had the ability to throw deep, and he didn't really do that at all. So I think they were trying to prevent people from having game film. So I'm going to go Arizona as a shocker.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Lions because I'm a big Matt Patricia fan. But you know what? The Cardinals win this thing. They earned it. I'm going to go Lions, but that should be a good game. All right, here we go. 49ers, Buccaneers. Mike?
This is a tough one. I didn't even know this was on the schedule, and not for both these teams being great either. I'm gonna go San Francisco. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna surprise some people. I think a lot of people are gonna take him lightly. And Tampa Bay still trying to work a few details out on their roster.
It's so evenly matched. It's so true. Sean?
Yeah, I'm going to go 49ers, even though Jameis might get a little bit better performance. Now with the change at head coach, he hasn't really shown anything yet. And, I mean, it's a toss-up. Jimmy Garoppolo looked horrible in the preseason, too. I'm just going to take 49ers.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well because the Buccaneers haven't proven anything. And last but not least, our final weigh-in. This is going to literally have to be really quick, guys. But Thursday Night Football, Packers at Bears, the longest rivalry in the NFL, the oldest rivalry in the NFL, continues. Mike, who you got?
I'm going with Green Bay because I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers 10 times out of 10 over Mitch Trubisky.
Whoa, okay. Look, all right, Sean?
Bears, I just think that defense is nasty.
I agree. I think they're too much for the Packers. I really do. Sunday Night Football, Steelers, Patriots. Mike?
Patriots. Steelers, great team, but in New England, tough first game.
Yeah, I agree. Sean?
Patriots, you just love to hate them, but they just win.
They really do. I think they're going to win it. All right, Texans, Saints. So Kylam already picked his team. He already knows it. Mike, who you got?
Saints. I got a lot of opinions about what Houston has done in the last week. I'm not going to share them here, but I'm just going to say Saints.
All right. Sean?
Yeah, Saints. I think they're just wanting to hit people in the mouth based on how they had that NFC Championship end last year. I think they're going to run over the league this year.
All right, I agree. I think the Saints are going to win this thing big. And, well, you already know Sean's taking the Broncos. I'm taking the Raiders. Mike, who are you taking in this game?
Spotlight, man. Seriously. Yeah, I think both these teams are going to try to find an identity earlier in the year, so I think they'll both be kind of trying things out. I'm just going to go with the home team pick here in the Raiders. Nothing against the Broncos. I do actually think they're a good team. I like Von Miller. I like Bradley Chubb. I think that's a good pass rushing duo, but I think with both teams trying to figure some early stuff out, I'll go with the team in the more favorable environment.
Okay, well, there it is, guys. We've got 2 minutes left, but that was an awesome job today. Thank you very much to all of my colleagues and all of the guests on tonight's show. That was absolutely awesome. With that said, Mike Pat, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MikePat91. Also check out the IESportsRadio.wordpress.com, the IESportsRadioblog.wordpress.com. Finally got the URL changed. Come on over and check us out. We got a lot of good stuff. New post just came up yesterday, and we should have a lot more in the next couple weeks.
That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Of course, the chief editor of the iSports Radio blog, Mr. Mike Pat. And Sean, where can they find you, man? Well, actually, you're not even on Twitter. Like, you're nowhere to be found.
No, I'm not on Twitter. I'm just on Facebook. That's all I do.
That's it. Well, Sean's a great guy. I'm not giving us Facebook information, but Sean's an awesome guy. Look for him many more times here on the show. And like I said, I think Kyle dipped out. Like, it is what it is. I know, poor guys. It's been a long day. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, well, you know what that means. Cue the music, because we're out of here! With that said, it has been a fun one, y'all. Thank you so much. And one more applause for all of our guests on tonight's show. What a show. It's great to be back. Back to football, baby. We are getting it tomorrow. Join myself, your boy Larry B. You can find me at THEE_LB53 on Twitter. Once again, that is at THEE_LB53 on Twitter. You can follow us all as a whole at iSports Radio, on Instagram at iSports Radio, on Twitter at on Twitter at iSports Radio. Give us a like on Facebook. We'd certainly like that. Ask us about the iSports Radio community, the Picks League, Fantasy, the iSports Radio Bowl is already booked and ready to go, so we'll be keeping tabs on that. And plenty more, y'all. Check us out at iSportsRadio.com. Show us some love, and we'll be back next week. Take it easy, y'all. Football is back. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.